Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. And a fine Monday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always. Don't miss anything. If you do, get caught up. All 3 hours going to be posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. On Twitter, a couple follows here. Follow at 979ESPN Radio, and you'll watch the show periscoped if you so choose. You can follow me at J Cameron Show, also at _Tom Lane. And on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. So there we go. We're busy. It's fun. It's a good time. It's a great time to be a Knoll, right? That was a spring game. I almost feel like, given the way that we all talked together inside Doak Campbell Stadium and celebrated Florida State's history together at Doak Campbell Stadium on Saturday night, that anything I say today will be sort of redundant and overkill. But for those that are listening in that did not have the opportunity to attend the spring game, I can tell you it is as you've heard described. And that includes my cohort. Tom Lang had to go to a wedding in Dallas, and I don't begrudge him that. You can't miss dear friends' weddings. And spring games are a little bit different. If you schedule a wedding during football season, well, screw you. I might miss your wedding, and you deserve that. But if you schedule a wedding for a spring game weekend, I understand that. But this wasn't your typical spring game. And I got to be honest with you, Tom, it exceeded all expectations. I can be a little cynical, a little jaded at times, covered 20 years worth of spring games and have been going to them longer than that. 99% of them do not live up to any sort of expectation. There is always this thought that something grand could happen and you could walk out of that stadium feeling great about this upcoming season, or maybe there's a player or two that surprises you, an early enrollee that you think, oh, well, that guy, he's got potential, can't wait to see him play. But that's about the best you're going to get ordinarily. It's not usually about the atmosphere. It's usually not about the sorts of things that we felt and witnessed on Saturday night. And yet this time around, I was swept away, as was everybody else. And it was the culmination of an effort from Willie Taggart and his staff that was rewarded on Saturday night and embraced by a fan base that was starving to feel good about itself again, starving to believe in Florida State football again, and starting to believe and wanting to believe in this coaching staff and their efforts and the things that they've been saying and the things they've been doing, both in the community and, of course, within the program, talking so much about a family and team and embracing that history and looking back at yesteryear and incorporating that into what they're doing now. And it happened. A plan came together. And as the saying goes, don't you just love it when a plan comes together? Yes, I do. That was something to behold. And here's the thing. Here's why it works. From a scheme standpoint, it's a lot of fun. Okay, we talk about that. We'll see how quickly they can make this thing hum, right? That's what you don't know. And in a spring game doesn't necessarily tell you that, right? So you won't know, but you'll get a test from Bud Foster and that defense opening night on a Monday against Virginia Tech. That time is a distant time from now. So what can we say about now? Well, what we can say about now is that people believe, the fans believe, the players believe, the former players are excited to be welcomed back home, and they're arriving in droves. Big names, everybody from walk-ons to Hall of Famers. That's a neat thing to see play out because it hasn't been commonplace here in a very long time. But Willie came here with the idea that, hey, I grew up a Florida State fan. I grew up loving Florida State football and always wanted to play there, but I wasn't big enough, so I had to go play at a smaller school. Well, that's every man's dream. That's me. That's you. That's anybody that ever played the game in high school and wished they could be on that field at Doak Campbell Stadium or whatever their favorite team was, right? Willie understood that and understood its history and understood that you needed to embrace that and not be afraid of it. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Don't be running from that. Welcome it back. Get everybody back on board again with the thing we all share a passion for and have a love for. And when you see it on display on a Saturday night before a record crowd, you can say to yourself that, well, there is certainly going to be, I think, probably greater wiggle room for Willie Taggart and his staff in the beginning stages than many coaches that arrive at a place brand new, right? Because the expectation is always you got to win. And, of course, that doesn't change. You have to win, and you got to win pretty quickly no matter who you are and where you go if you're at a Power 5 school and you have aspirations of winning national championships. But when you humanize yourself and you reach out to people in the community, people from yesteryear and people of the now, and you say, hey, I want us all to be as one, and I want us all to go on this ride together, and you're selling a vision, you have to hope they buy in. You have to hope everybody's on board. You have to see it take hold. And Saturday night, it took hold. There's no doubt everybody is on board.
What's interesting and fun about this weekend from my perspective, I wish I was there, but from my perspective, I put the phone away. So I had the phone available to me on Saturday as the wedding was coinciding with the third period of the Lightning game. So I was keeping tabs on that score. And then I put it away for the night, and I open it up first thing the next morning, and I have a couple of text messages about what an amazing experience it was. It was like magic pixie dust over Tallahassee, right? And everybody fell in love with the product again and talked about it. It felt right. But my favorite exchange, and it was one-sided because I had my phone away, it was my old roommate, and he sent me a photo of the line outside.
Yeah.
And this was at 6:20 on Saturday. He says, FSU really messed this up, and I changed one word. We have been waiting 45 minutes to get into the spring game. He does not text me until 11 o'clock the next morning. And then he texted, I take back what I said yesterday. That was the most fun I've ever had at a spring game. I was not prepared for that.
Well, I think he is in accordance with 99% of the fan base that was frustrated trying to get into that stadium.
Right.
And they've got to do a better job of streamlining that. There's no question. But once you were in there, you got your money's worth and then some.
Think about it. So you're as mad as can be as a consumer.
And you get one over.
And you get one over to the point that that's the most fun you've ever had at a spring game. That tells you all you need to know about what it was like in Doak Campbell, and that's the closest I can get to it. And you echo the same sentiments when we discussed yesterday. You said, man, this was more than I've ever seen at a spring game. It was just happy. Everybody was happy.
Yeah. No, it was like a family reunion where nobody is super annoyed at the uncle who's drunk early in the afternoon and saying ridiculous things that are going to further divide. Everybody kept it together and had a great time, and everybody celebrated the history, and everybody wanted to see each other, and everybody wanted to talk about what was possible, and everybody was ready to move on. And I don't think I realized how scarred a lot of this fan base really was because of the things in the way that they played out last year. I don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time today rehashing a lot of those things, but there were several WTF moments where you think, oh, so he couldn't see the field last year. And when you thought of all the struggles, all the things that were shortcomings for Florida State last year and the difficulty in certain aspects of the game, returns, all that sort of stuff, you see certain guys that are electrifying. You see certain players that you think, well, we didn't offer. Think about the previous, and this will be the last I do of this, but the staff previous to Willie getting here hadn't offered Jaden Woodby a scholarship, and he's been a Knoll and wanted to be a Knoll for his whole life, and then that's on display, that talent, that ability, what he's going to mean to this defense, his talents, what he's going to look like over the next 3 years. What were you doing? What were you doing? Yes, it's very easy to get very angry again. Yeah. You're reminded of that. When you see DJ Matthews and when you see Tamarron Terry, who's a freak of a player. And it's not like we didn't know this because we saw him in the open practice.
Yes.
And everybody went, wow, that's different. Compared to these guys that you have starting over here, that's different.
Well, and they said it on signing day, too. If you know the people who were dialed in and cover recruiting for a living, they said, here's the deal.
If you can get him into school.
If you can get him into school, he's going to be a household name. The coaching staff found him late in the process. They know it was going to be a challenge, but if they could get him here, it is worth using up a spot in this signing class for that player, because wait till you see. And then you get to the open practice and you see, well, they're not kidding. That's an impressive body type, and it looks like he's actually pretty polished. And then you see a play like you do on Saturday. And this was the most impressive play of the game for me. I know a lot of people have mentioned it, but it's just jaw-dropping. Talked about it this morning. when you have a 90-yard touchdown run and the tailback isn't the star of the play. Yeah, it's the receiver who hawks him down. It's
so. You and I were laughing about this because I was talking about Carlos Williams catching Kermit on the kick return against Auburn in the national championship game, and how it's a very similar looking play where you're so excited in the moment for the play. It's a touchdown. It's an awesome play, but you're also absolutely just slack-jawed looking at a guy doing that to be that size and catching the said touchdown
after
score.
Making a block.
Yeah, it's silly. You don't want to get ahead of yourself because this is a new offense and a new defense that they're installing, and that is usually not devoid of some hiccups along the way. And there are aspects of this team that still have to get much better to compete for championships. We all instantly want to look at this and say, okay, we found the cure-all. Our problems are remedied. But if you're going to look at a negative from Saturday night, and this would be the only negative from Saturday night that I saw, it would be once again that, and I understand they were a bit of a mash unit, but there were some guys out there starting that will be starting come the fall. That offensive line, and I feel like a broken record, that offensive line is a problem. And if you're going to win championships, that can't look like that. Now, you know, how quickly can you get that righted? What can you do formationally to help them out? And you can do a lot. You can do them a lot. You can do them a lot of favors, and I do agree with that. But when I think about the other storylines in the ACC alone, let alone the country, you know, right in your own backyard, right there in your division is, well, a team that is penciled in currently, maybe even want to put that in pen, to play in the college football playoff in the form of Clemson. And it's because they have a depth of talent on the defensive line that really would be the envy of any team in the country, including Alabama. So if that's not remedied, you can't even win your own division in all likelihood. So I'm not making grand proclamations about national championships after a spring game. But what I am saying is that I think this team is going to make and better utilize huge strides, make huge strides offensively. They are going to be dynamic in games in which they have more talent than their opponent. They're going to utilize said talent in a way that is overwhelming, unlike what we saw the last couple of years where you're watching 17-10 and last-second wins against Wake Forest and the like. No, I do think that a lot of these teams that don't have the requisite skill or depth of talent to last over 4 quarters will get boat raced by Florida State this year, because the kind of conflict they're going to put defenses in, and the inability to sub because we're not waiting to the last second on the play clock to snap the ball where you can recognize formationally what we're trying to do, but rather we're going to make you keep that personnel out on the field, is going to lead to quick scores. Long games, true, but quick scores and thorough beatdowns of the middling teams. How long it takes to ascend to the top of the conference and knock off Clemson, and to be able to win on the road against Miami and to knock off Virginia Tech, say, like in that first game of the season, that I don't know about just yet. That will center around offensive and defensive line play. But everything else is going to see Florida State, in some ways, it was a throwback on Saturday night, return to that same form where they boat race the middling teams and the lesser-tier teams in the ACC.
We can get into the blood and guts of it, obviously, over the next
several months.
Yeah.
Yes.
But one thing I walked away from this game saying is, so our base plays are going to be bubbles to DJ Matthews. Okay.
I like that.
A dive or off tackle or outside zone, whatever you want to call it, with either Cam or Kalen or Jaquez Patrick.
Right.
Okay.
I like that.
Trey McKitty can be a weapon up the seams, and he flash potential.
You know, that's my guy.
Then there's Terry and Gavin on the perimeter, and you can have any type of sub package you want from there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the big if is capital I, capital F with the offensive line. But if that's what every team has to account for, and they got to take away something but leave something one-on-one, the options are endless as long as we have time.
Angles in space with the splits being what they are.
And the speed with which you're running the offense.
Yeah. No, and listen, it just felt good again to be in Doak Campbell Stadium in a way beyond what it ordinarily feels on a spring game. It really does. And I was happy for Willie. I've had the opportunity to talk with him more than once now, and in both intimate settings and then also, obviously, amongst the pool of reporters. And one thing you really realize is that it's genuine. I don't know if it'll work out. We'll see. Long term, that's to be decided with wins and losses. But he loves Florida State, man. And that love was on display. And it was nice to see somebody have an appreciation for Florida State's history, Florida State's traditions, and Florida State's players, to the point where there are moments where the camera focuses in on him and the smile he has, the joy in his heart to witness the fan base coming out in droves as they did, and the players having fun, and the former players on the sideline and all that. It was almost fan-like. And, he's doing a victory lap. It was so cool that is an amazing thing to watch as he goes and personally thanks the fans by going over and literally reaching out and touching them to say thank you.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what this is all about. It's about the personal touch.
Yeah.
And 60,000+ people, what it must feel like to a coach who grew up loving the university, saying, believe in me, please, and we'll do everything we can on our end to make you proud. And then for the people to show up like that, what does that tell you?
No, it tells me they believe. It tells me that the things that he has talked about in his press conferences and the things that he has said to others when he has those opportunities, whether it's at a luncheon, whether it's at a booster meet, whatever it might be, are resonating. Those people believe it's genuine. They believe the message is from the heart.
The word on the street, and this may have been you or it may have been I was up at this wedding on Saturday with a lot of FSU booster types, connected. They said the word was on Friday when he addressed all of the players that came in, and he was talking about what the university meant to him.
Over 300 players.
He was getting choked up about
awesome.
Talking about how much the university means to him. And that's why you see so many players who even recently, hey, they were Jimbo guys, and they love Jimbo. They'll still rave about this man because they understand that he has immense appreciation, not for his guys, but for everybody who's worn the helmet.
And who helped pave the way to arrive at this moment.
Yes.
Yeah, listen, we fight as hard as we can. Now, this show is always as transparent as possible in the sense that we don't hide that we're both Noles and we don't hide that there's a bent there. But when we're bad, we'll say we're bad. If we think a team is helpless or has no shot in the game, we'll say that. If we think it's going to be a long season, we'll say that. I do believe, again, that he is ushering in a better time for Florida State athletics, a better time for Florida State football. Now, again, will he achieve what ultimately everybody wants to see happen, which is a national championship contender, a national championship winning team, a team that is in a position year in and year out to compete for those things? I don't know. We don't know that, right? But he's off to a flying start. He's off to a start that would be the envy of most, right? You have clearly been able to ingratiate yourself to the fan base in a way that the former regime did not. That's just a fact. I mean, Jimbo was distant, and it's not that he was devoid of success. God knows. He won a lot of football games and made us all very proud because of that fact. But it was about the wins and losses only.
Well, and we may get to a point in a few years where we long for somebody like that again, because this may not work. But if you're talking about setting the stage, well, I know.
Yeah, I don't know, but we're going to be longing for that. But all right.
Well, listen, if we go 7-6 back-to-back years, we'll say, give me somebody who wins.
Well, no, you'll want somebody who wins, but you can win in a lot of different ways.
If this guy does, though, this is already such a special relationship because from the word go, there's a honeymoon period that feels, again, more than just we needed him because we needed change. We got somebody who cares and is one of us.
Yeah.
That's the difference here. And we talked about it with Jimbo when he first started, the connection to the Bowden family. It's not the same, though, is it?
No, well, I mean, obviously Bowden didn't feel as strongly about him as he does Willie Taggart. I mean, he's right there on display for everybody to see Saturday night. And that embrace and that hug seemed pretty real and genuine to me. Anybody else that saw it, I thought, well, those are real smiles. That's a real embrace. Those two guys are having fun in each other's presence. That's a welcome back with open arms if I've ever seen one. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and a full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men in a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with Easy Laundry Service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's Easy Laundry Service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
With this job, having two hands won't cut it, which is why I thank the stars I have a third. Grainger. When my two hands are full, I fully rely on Grainger. They're America's #1 source for industrial-grade supplies. So, whether I'm fixing a furnace or fastening a faucet, Grainger hands me what I need when I need it, which makes me a pretty lucky guy. Because when it comes to needing an extra hand, Grainger's got your back. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the most dynamic young players in the league are ready to get their chop on.
Hit hard to left and deep. Back to the wall. That ball is gone. Dansby Swanson.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Metro Deli, Tallahassee's perfect lunch spot, and by AmeriGas Propane, driving every day. Monthly play-by-play schedule available at ESPNTallahassee.com.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
.9 ESPN Radio. Good Monday, man. And ma'am. All ya. Double pass, 2 halfback passes, and a fake punt. Quote unquote, Willie Taggart kept things vanilla for the spring game. You won't run, I don't think, 125 plays. They ran 125 plays on Saturday night. I don't think you'll run 125 plays. I think they ran 90 in the first half. But, again, that's not quite a game situation. And what he talked about was needing to clean things up, which you figure that's going to be on display in a spring game. But the essence of what he's trying to instill and try to get these guys to understand the pace, I think the first 10 minutes of the game, they ran 3 or 4 plays with 30 seconds or more still on the play clock. So, they're learning how to play fast. And with that's going to come mistakes like false starts and the like, which did happen. And those are drive killers. But I think all in all, for 15 days worth of install, good work.
What I really like about this group, and again, you can't know identity until fall camp is, over with. And even then, you're still evolving. But they've got a chance to be nasty, personality-wise. And I really like that about us, because if you think about defensively, we already knew that Stanford Samuels, by the end of the year, had the demeanor. He had a little bit of something to him, a little bit of what for, as you're fond of saying. Levante Taylor does have that.
Yes, he does.
But if you think about it, between Stanford and Dontavius Jackson, among others, there's 3 or 4 nasty hits in this game. Hamza, who will always be that type of player too. And you combine that attitude with a group of running backs that'll run you over and tell you about it, led by Cam Akers. But LeBourne has got some nastiness to him too. He'll finish everything. And James Blackman, if he's the quarterback, we'll see. But he's got a little bit of chip on his shoulder, too, to his game. When you're talking about identity, this group, to me, has a chance to have a little bit of not just the swagger, but the nastiness, the finishing of the plays, to the echo of the whistle type stuff, where they're going to earn the extra yard. And I think in the last couple of seasons, there have been times where we were caught being passive, and it got under our skin as fans. This group has a chance to rewrite the book a little bit, and that's the most exciting thing I took away from the game.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I do think that, by the way, on the defensive side of the ball, Harlan Barnett's got a lot to work with, and I can tell he's excited. They didn't force any turnovers in this game, and I know that's going to be a point of emphasis because that was a problem a year ago, but I don't think, to your point, we're going to be lacking from a standpoint of attacking. That they are going to attack on defense, and there are a lot of players who fit that mold well, who will be more than happy to lay a hat on you.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you have players that are technical. They're technically sound, and it's all about what they do with their technique and finishing tackles, and they're like they're a sure thing player. But then there are others that they want to finish the job. They want to end you, so to speak. It's Goodwill Hunting. Say anything about my wife again, and I will end you.
Right.
We have some candidates there, and I love that. It's hard to gauge that on the defensive line because of the sacks and the situation with tackles and wrapping versus bringing somebody to the ground. But it would appear the second and third level is littered with guys who want to hit.
Yeah, without question. And one of those guys would be who we weren't going to offer, apparently. I will also say this. I really think just when you listen to the way that he lights up when he talks about him. Now, he's been very complimentary of Bailey Hockman as well, but it's pretty clear that Willie Taggart likes James Blackman. And if you're talking about who we think is going to be the starting quarterback as we exit spring, I think there's no doubt that the guy who has the lead, and I don't know how significantly so, but I think it's reasonably substantial at this point, is James Blackman. And he's not a perfect quarterback, and he's got a long way to go and plenty of time to grow. But I get the sense that Willie really likes him, and I think that's born out of the understanding, and I think this is a fan base that is dying to love him as well. You just got to produce. That he was thrust into an untenable situation a year ago, and if you think about the fact that he wasn't even an early enrollee, that he quite literally, at the time that he was asked to step in and start for Florida State University, he was not that far removed from having been in high school. That he was clearly not ready to be a college quarterback. He was not ready to start and be under center for the Garnet and Gold. In those first 4 to 5 weeks, it's brutal watching stretches at a time where he is just taking shot after shot. But he always got up, and he endeared himself. And in that way, DeAndre Francois was very similar if you go back to the beating he took. If you'll stand in there to make the play, if you'll sacrifice your body in order to try to create big-time plays and scoring opportunities for your team, not only do you win teammates over, you win the fans over, and you win coaches over. Willie sees in James Blackman a kid who improved immensely at the end of last year in an untenable situation, not just his own to start the year, but the end of the year with the coaching staff obviously in disarray, a head coach with one foot out the door, and the need to win your final few games just to to get bowl eligible and to keep a streak alive. He does all of these things in light of all of those other problems, and I think he showed a form of leadership that Willie embraced. And to me, you start the fall with James Blackman as your starting quarterback in all likelihood, and we'll see what DeAndre Francois can do to get back in the good graces and honestly compete for that position, because if it's even, he's going to choose Blackman over DeAndre Francois, and he's going to do that because he can't trust DeAndre Francois right now. And so if it's anywhere close, he's going to go with Blackman. The only thing I'd say about this that we didn't see in this game and that you can't see because he couldn't fully participate is the dynamic of being able to run the football from that position, which DeAndre Francois, if healthy, will quite clearly do a better job of than James Blackman. He's just a more naturally gifted runner. And if that guy is healthy and in camp competing and brings that added element, and he has somehow found a way to get himself in order and be trustworthy, he could win the job. But right now, it's Blackman's to lose.
I tend to agree with you. I like Blackman's arm strength for some of the throws we're going to be asking the quarterbacks to make too. With you see how wide we have our splits, but if you want to keep somebody honest and the numbers favor a perimeter throw, man, he can get it out there. It's not to say that DeAndre doesn't have a good arm. He does, but James has a little bit of extra giddy up. He didn't throw all the prettiest balls on Saturday, but still, you could see that he's refining a lot of elements of his game. Of course, the snap stuff was a big-time issue. I think that got in his head to the point where he made some mistakes after he was just so used to having to scramble for the football and take his eyes off of the downfield at the snap. But I thought Hockman played well, too.
I thought he did, too. Yeah. Now, he had an advantage if you look at the talent on that side of the ball. Yeah, he had a couple receivers to go with.
There's no doubt, but there's a nice back shoulder throw in the second half. I thought, okay, well, that's kind of
nice.
Well,
he's not lost in this race, and it's right to bring him up. And by the way, Willie's smart to bring that up often, too.
And he keeps his eyes downfield when he breaks contain. And, that's something we love because that tells me that the game is not too fast for you. It's slow enough that you can take an extra step or two before delivering the ball. He's not live, so maybe that might change if he is live. But another thing I noticed, too, about James, jumping all over the place here with the quarterbacks, but he also seems to be a little less awkward when he runs. It looks like they've been working on that this spring. Last year when he would break the pocket and run down the field, the ball is out and it's a loaf of bread. And obviously that there was the killer fumble in the NC State game. But he looks to be getting training on how to run as a quarterback in this system, too. It looks a little bit more natural as he gets down the field.
Yeah, and I think that it's just a matter of comfort on a lot of levels. It's comfort running the football. It's getting bigger and stronger as an individual. It's understanding when to run and when not to run. It's not always a broken play. There are times we're going to utilize you as a runner to keep a defense honest.
Well, it's also fair to point out, we talked about this when I was driving up today, in this offense, you don't have to be Jameis Winston in order to be successful at quarterback. We don't ask a ton compared to what Jimbo is going to ask from the quarterback. So if you don't have a blue chipper, which of course we'd want, down the line, but if you don't have that guy that everybody around the country wanted, Trevor Lawrence, like they're talking about in Clemson, that doesn't mean this offense has to slow down or be much less productive.
Well, look at Clemson last year.
Right.
They didn't have a quarterback who, traditionally speaking, is worth a damn. And that offense, he's very effective, very effective. And there's nothing wrong with that because you can't always find the next pro-style quarterback, the next five-star pre-snap read guy that's going to do everything right and understands the game and has an acumen that is beyond his years. You can't always find that.
But much like we asked in the past tense now, everything of our center, the quarterback had to be so responsible for all of these things, and Willie was getting at it last week, paralysis by analysis. Sometimes guys can't handle that. And if that's not the DNA, if it is, then great. Then we have an even better offense than before. But if that's not in your DNA, it's not crippling to the offense.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't come here and play and succeed, right? That's the whole thing, and that's a good thing because you create a much greater margin for error, which is nice. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
The food's always good. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
I'm Michael Blank, an attorney with the Personal Injury Law Office of Jose R. Fernandez. If you get into an accident, call 1-855-HOSE-305. That's 1-855-HOSE-305. We don't get paid until you do. Se habla español. Offices Tallahassee and Miami.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Truck drivers, check this out. Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee took a brand new Nissan Titan and a brand new F-150 around town, parked them side by side with a compare sign between them. The results were crazy. People couldn't stop checking out the Titan. They looked under the hood, sat behind the wheel, and called friends on the phone, took pictures. So if you have not seen the new Nissan Titan, you need to come see what you're missing. There are a lot of reasons why Truck Trends magazine named the Nissan Titan the 2017 Truck of the Year. In head-to-head comparisons versus F-150, Titan has better handling, better 0 to 60 acceleration, more horsepower, more torque, and frankly, it's better looking. And the topper? Titan costs less than F-150. TruckYow.com joked that the Nissan Titan XD is the best F-150 you can buy. In April, save up to $10,000 off MSRP on Nissan Titans at Kraft. This Nissan Town Tallahassee may soon be turning into a Titan Town too. Kraft Nissan near Costco on Mahan Drive.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, another one and done for Duke. Freshman forward Wendell Carter Jr. declared for the NBA draft. He's rated the number 6 overall prospect in the draft by ESPN's Jonathan Givony. Carter's the 4th Blue Devils freshman leaving for the NBA, joining Gary Trent Jr., Trayvon Duval, and Marvin Bagley III. One NBA playoff game in the East and one in the West. On this Monday night, the Red Hot 76ers, winners of 17 straight, are home to the Heat in Game 2. The play of Ben Simmons, one reason Philly owns a 1-0 series lead, explains ESPN NBA front office insider Bobby Marks.
I've never seen a rookie put a performance like that Saturday night where he took over in the second half there. He's got such a great feel for the game where I had Jason Kidd in New Jersey, but he makes everyone so much better better.
Bobby Marks on Golic and Wingo. Warriors welcome the Spurs for Game 2, 10 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Golden State up 1-0 has won 10 consecutive home playoff games. NHL Avs defenseman Samuel Girard out for Game 3 tonight against the Predators with an upper body injury. Colorado down 2-0. NFL, the Vikings signed linebacker Eric Kendricks to a 5-year, $50 million extension, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. The deal includes $25 million guaranteed. With a deep group of running backs in the NFL draft and the need for more salary cap space, the Broncos are releasing running back C.J. Anderson. Baseball, Tampa Bay Times reports Rays center fielder Kevin Kiermaier will have surgery on a torn ligament in his thumb and is expected to miss 8 to 12 weeks. Pirates second baseman and leadoff hitter Josh Harrison sidelined 6 weeks with a fracture in his left hand. Today's Cardinals-Cubs game postponed because of a forecast calling for inclement weather and 20-degree wind chills. That'll be made up on July 1st as part of a doubleheader.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Ball back in your life ever so fleetingly, and then to realize today, while we're all in celebration mode, that the long, at times interminable offseason begins now with this much anticipation. Like, you can deal with off seasons as they come and go. We're all obviously well aware of the things you do to cope. You dive into baseball or the basketball playoffs or the NHL playoffs or whatever it is, and every week there's something, and obviously, it kind of draws your attention away for now, and then one day you wake up and you're like, well, geez, it's June. We're almost there, that kind of a thing. Or you go on vacation, or you do all those things. But for me, and once again, being so eager to see how this plays out in year one and to have the good vibes that are flowing here in Tallahassee currently, you just want so much to see how it translates, and you get that first game of the year against Virginia Tech. And really, it got me thinking a lot about the ACC, where clearly Clemson is your odds-on favorite yet again, and just what Willie and Florida State, what has to be done in order to topple this behemoth. It's like we woke up one day and all of a sudden Clemson had not only replaced Florida State as the team in this conference that everybody's chasing, but the one that just reloads the way we did for so long, obviously throughout the dynasty era, but also in the beginning stages of Jimbo Fisher's build. You saw the ability to recruit at a high level, to establish yourself as a destination once again for the best recruits in the country, and the knowledge was that you were going to be able to handle the loss of players to the league and go on to have great season after great season. And initially, certainly, in the build-up to 2013, 2014, that happened. But what I see now with Clemson returning, obviously their defensive linemen running 8 deep, and they bring in elite-level quarterbacks, 2 different guys at 5-star levels now, to the point where you've got a guy that may end up supplanting a guy who won you 12 games a year ago and put you in the – I mean, it's nuts to think about, but that's where that program's at. And I really would like the opportunity, as excited as I am to see that game against Virginia Tech on a Monday night, I really would like the opportunity to play a lesser-tier foe early on and get this thing moving and get this thing to where the confidence is being built and you're not in any danger of losing a football game. You don't have that luxury, and you're trying to get to a place now where you become, again, the program that supplants Clemson. It's going to be very difficult to do when you recognize – I mean, I went and looked and watched a lot of that Clemson game, and they're really talented.
Yeah, for me, a tradition of ours from the last couple of years that I don't like is that there's a chalk outline about 6 yards behind the center.
Always.
On offense. And that's the one thing where I'll say, I'm glad we're not playing tomorrow, because that O-line needs a lot of work. And so I'm glad that they have some time to get healthy where they're not.
Coach Fry's got a lot of work to do.
And then, oh, God.
And he'll get, he's obviously already made an impact, but he's got a lot of work to do. They got to get healthier. You got to get more you got to get better with, well, it's not their fault. Got to have numbers. They didn't have a lot of guys.
If the quarterbacks were live, we would feel a lot worse than we do. Since they're not live, it's just a whistle and nobody sees the effect. But our quarterbacks would have been on the ground an awful lot. And I get it. You know, you're shuffling in a MASH unit, as you said, but it's also their all-time offensive line. So they're playing all of these plays, and that's asking an awful lot, especially now that we're running at a brand-new tempo. Maybe at Jimbo's pace, they could have handled that and blocked it up from the first through the fourth quarter. But at this pace, you're asking so much of your offensive linemen. So, you know, you give them a pass a little bit there, but when that game was over, I thought, whew, okay, the guys who were wearing black tonight, they need some work.
They need a lot of work. They got to get a lot better. That is the one aspect of what we saw Saturday night that gave everybody pause was, well, that's not where it needs to be. Everything else here, I'm liking this. Man, this is fun. I'm loving this, and this is going to be fun over here, and look at that guy in space, and, man, on defense we got some headhunters and all that. Yeah, that group there, though.
There will be some drives where we can spread it out, get the ball out quickly, and, you know, bounce for, hey, DJ Matthews, make one guy miss 30 yards, and we hit another pass. Not a problem.
There's going to be some quick scoring plays.
There are also going to be drives where you have to be able, we said it when we were going against it, stop the dive. First down. Can you get 3 to 4 yards on first down?
Stop the dive, create a behind-the-chains effect, and move from there. Yeah, then you dictate terms. So that's a lot of what we'll be watching this year on the other side of it, right? Can we win first down and go from there and then obviously hurry to the line of scrimmage? You want to work backwards, by the way, to wet the whistle. Here you go. You look on Monday, September the 3rd. We already know that. But just to give you the goose pimples for a second, just to thinking about what we have that opening weekend. So Florida State on a Monday by themselves against Virginia Tech, a whole country watching to ACC Titans clash at Doak Campbell Stadium at 8 o'clock. Okay, but day before on a Sunday at 7:30, AT&T Stadium, Miami LSU. Oh, do I do it? Well, you know what the danger is? When you do this, all matchups sound compelling. They're like, well, how about a little Indiana-Florida International that first week? Okay, don't mind if I do. They all sound compelling. They're not all compelling. But Michigan-Notre Dame, right off the bat. I mentioned Miami-LSU, Florida State-Virginia Tech. Oregon State-Ohio State, okay.
That's weird.
That's weird. I like it. Tennessee-West Virginia. Okay.
Could be good.
It could be good. Could be good. North Carolina and Cal. Could be good. You don't know. Probably not good. All right, so you don't want to see North Carolina. Ole Miss, Texas Tech.
Huh.
Alabama, Louisville.
Oh, pick the wrong year. Pick the wrong year.
How would you like to be that kid? Puma Pass, that's their quarterback's name at Louisville. Juwan Pass, Puma Pass, what they call me, 6'4", 235 pounds. Had a chance to talk to a Louisville beat writer who covered their spring game, talking about what they're going to look like. Their offensive line's a lot better than it has been, but it would be impossible not to be, obviously. They've struggled on defense. They bring in Van Gorder on defense now. So the Louisville fan base is in a weird place because they've had the scandal off to the side, and now Lamar Jackson's taking it to the league, and you got this Puma Pass kid coming in who they have high expectations for, and they hand the keys of the offense to him, and they say, go get him. And he goes, who do we got? And they go, Alabama. Woo. Hurt your feelings?
That's like when you're expecting to get some Nike swag and you get Puma. You know,
I like Puma
after
personally.
Lamar.
I personally like Puma. I know what you're saying. Yes,
yeah,
I know
but
what
you're
saying.
looking for the cool factor of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He's Nike.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, we got this guy.
Yeah, I see that. Champion. We're wearing champion. I see what that is there. By the way, Auburn and Washington.
Ooh.
A lot of people. Did you know that was on the radar?
No, and when they signed the dotted line, I'll bet it wasn't that interesting. But this, yes,
yes, give me that. That's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's
okay.
Atlanta. That's a really good game. Yeah, I'm excited about that game. All right. There's maybe not as much as I thought, but most of again, you have a lot of fun with the middle tier games. If you're focused on, okay, so 2 years ago, the ACC was the talk of college football, right? But we knew with all those quarterbacks leaving that it would take a big step back last year, at least in terms of the perception of it being the best conference in all of college football. It wasn't going to be able to sustain that because of the loss of a lot of elite quarterbacks. But that's always more about not your Clemsons of the world who you know can compete and win national titles, and we'd like to think Florida State here in the very near future as well, or even the return of a Miami and a Virginia Tech. It's always about the kind of middle teams, your Wake Forests of the world, the Dukes of the world, the Boston Colleges of the world. And I will say this, and we love Adazio, and we'll be at the ACC meetings this summer.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty loaded Boston College team. They have 10 deep in linemen returning, offensive and defensive linemen returning that have playing experience He's going to run the ball. They're going to throw off a play action. They won 7 games a year ago. That Adazio team's going to surprise people.
And there you go again with a clash of styles, right? When we play them, now it's completely different.
Beat our ass like a drum this past year. Now, that's a whole different story, obviously. But, yeah, that wasn't fun when you're trying to tackle a 235-pound running back.
See, you tell me the schedule and the slate for the opening weekend, and the thing I'm looking forward to most about it is watching LSU Miami with a bar full of Knowles, because we're all going to be here together.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it. There are no other games. It's just us chilling, watching that game.
That's the right kind of watch party right there. You can just talk about what we expect this season to be while rooting against Miami. Doesn't that just sound like a nice gathering?
Who doesn't want to embrace that on the regular? You're right, absolutely. You know how sad I am. I have that little love that I do for Purdue that comes out of nowhere. By the way, big opening weekend in the Big Ten, Northwestern Purdue, Tom. I'll be watching on a Thursday night, August the 30th.
Yes, you will be
watching
that.
Yes, I will be watching that.
Proudly.
That's a big moment. It's like when BC, what was the BC game that I saw? BC Wake. We're like, oh, this is a big clash.
That
right
was,
here.
well, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to turn out to be a doozy.
There's a lot on the line.
There was a lot on the line.
Somebody's going to get fired.
And by the way, Wake should improve. Anyhow, I'm sorry. Wake plays Tulane early in the season. That's a pretty big matchup on the road.
Yeah.
They're a little Wake Tulane.
Boy, they got aggressive with this non-conference scheduling, didn't they?
A little Wake Tulane to get you rolling. Syracuse plays Western Michigan on the road early, so let's see what Syracuse does. Right. I got a story later on today, though. I don't know how many people saw it. Their quarterback, the Culpepper kid who got a chance to play. Man, I know it's going to be tough. Hey, listen, a little shelter from the storm, perhaps? I got 2 shelter for the storms today. If you want me to go that route in the 4 o'clock hour, I can combine the 2. And we'll try to keep it together.
Let's go all huddle together with our shelter.
A couple of shelter from the storm moments. But that's actually one of the great stories. And if you're a decent human being at all, you want to hear those kinds of things and celebrate those moments, we'll do that in the next hour. Ira Schoffel, warchant.com, going to join us next.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Tired of your normal two-piece kit? Makita and Cornerstone are back together with a better-than-ever offer. Purchase a Makita brushless premium hammer drill and impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool, plus a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a total of 3 batteries, a $150 value. Not to mention, buy any 3 Makita brushless tools and get a free starter kit, 1 tool bag, 2 5-amp-hour batteries, and 1 dual bay charger. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave or 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
Hey, we're checking in with Joe over at Truck and Car Concepts. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, how you guys doing today? It's an awesome setup here at Truck and Car Concepts. You come in here, it's your one-stop shop. You can get it all taken care of. Window tinting, pinstriping, graphics, you name it, Truck and Car Concepts does it. And we've also got those bolt-on accessories that makes the truck look nice. We've got grill guards, we've got brush guards, stainless steel Nerf bars, lifetime warranty on those. And again, the spray-in bed liner is going to make it worth your while.
You're talking about putting a few of these things on there, and you're going to increase the value of that vehicle.
Well, you will, and not only are you going to do that, but you're going to make it look nice. It's going to customize it for your own personality and your own wants and needs. Some guys like it jacked up. We also do lowering kits.
There's only one place in town that's going to be able to truck it up then.
That's right. That's Truck and Car Concepts.
Truck and Car Concepts. 1 block east of Weems Road on Mahan Drive, across from Kraft Nissan. Call 656-8800. Come on, say it with me. 656-8800.
O'Reilly. Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of O'Reilly conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for only $16.99, or upgrade to high mileage for $17.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve engine performance with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Turn up the savings and be comfortable this spring when you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Get $1,200 in cool cash rebates when you purchase a select Carrier system and get up to 60 months no interest on all purchases. Learn more at BaranoAC.com.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
Florida license CAC 057652.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, another one and done for Duke. Freshman forward Wendell Carter Jr. declared for the NBA draft. He's rated the number 6 overall prospect in the draft by ESPN's Jonathan Givony. Carter's the 4th Blue Devils freshman leaving for the NBA, joining Gary Trent Jr., Trayvon Duval, and Marvin Bagley III. One NBA playoff game in the East and one in the West. On this Monday night, the Red Hot 76ers, winners of 17 straight, are home to the Heat in Game 2. The play of Ben Simmons, one reason Philly owns a 1-0 series lead, explains ESPN NBA front office insider Bobby Marks.
I've never seen a rookie put a performance like that Saturday night where he took over in the second half there. He's got such a great feel for the game where I had Jason Kidd in New Jersey, but he makes everyone so much better.
Bobby Marks on Golic and Wingo. Warriors welcome the Spurs for Game 2, 10 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Golden State up 1-0 has won 10 consecutive home playoff games. NHL, Avs defenseman Samuel Girard out for Game 3 tonight against the Predators with an upper body injury. Colorado down 2-0. NFL, the Vikings signed linebacker Eric Kendricks to a 5-year, $50 million extension, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. The deal includes $25 million guaranteed. With a deep group of running backs in the NFL draft and the need for more salary cap space, the Broncos are releasing running back C.J. Anderson. Baseball, Tampa Bay Times reports Rays center fielder Kevin Kiermaier will have surgery on a torn ligament in his thumb and is expected to miss 8 to 12 weeks. Pirates second baseman and leadoff hitter Josh Harrison sidelined 6 weeks with a fracture in his left hand. Today's Cardinals-Cubs game postponed because of a forecast calling for inclement weather and 20-degree wind chills. That'll be made up on July 1st as part of a doubleheader.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great Monday to you and yours. I wish we could be doing the show outside right now, buddy. In every break, I am racing outdoors. It is perhaps the last vestige of this glorious weather. I know this show's not about the weather, but damn it, man, it's all part of the feel-good weekend that was.
This weekend in Dallas, the front hit them, obviously, before it hit us here, so I've been riding that wave. It's just been glorious.
Glorious indeed, as was the spring game, and joining us to talk about it right now, in fact, is our good buddy and friend of the program who's wont to be here on Mondays. It's Ira Schoffel, warchant.com. Hello, good sir. How are you?
I'm great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Just basking in the glow of the joy that was shared by so many on Saturday night. You know, it's a little cheesy, but I'll be honest with you. I mean, all of the descriptors, both written by you and Corey and so many others, and the people that I've talked to that were in attendance and that I ran into at the game, and people out in the parking lot, and then really carried over from to Sunday, talking to friends near and far who all felt that same vibe. That was a huge success across the board for Willie Taggart, this staff, in their first spring game. And I think you're right. I think it has to do with the fact that it feels very genuine. He loves being here.
Yeah, I mean, man, the lap he took around the field,
yeah.
I mean, that was just nuts. And it's a lot of things like that, again, we don't know a lot of those things, how directly they'll translate to wins and losses, and, in terms of, the overall success of the program and coaching, which is what he's paid to do. But all of the other things, everything else, the things we know for sure that we can evaluate, he's nailed every one of them. And this is, this whole day was another one, just the way he embraced the former players when they came back, and the message he delivered to them, which was, thank you for accepting me, not, you should feel honored that I'm here. He really, it's kind of like he's asking for their acceptance, and that means a lot to those guys, because they're the ones that have, blood, sweat, and tears on those practice fields, and not just the superstars, but all of them. And so I think he started off there on Friday, and then obviously at the game Saturday, just the you could see the way the guys played. I thought there were so many spontaneous moments, with the crowd when the PA system started playing "Baby Got Back" and the players started dancing. I mean, it just everything about it was fun, and you kind of remembered, as I was leaving, I kind of remembered, man, I remember this is kind of what going to college football games used to be. And they have to do so many things now to kind of entice people to come to games with the Champions Club and all these different things, but really the experience is what makes it fun, and I felt like you saw that again.
I think you did, and it's interesting because I don't think we could have known to the degree that his message from day one, since stepping foot on campus for that first press conference to where we were on Saturday night, would have resonated to this extent. You heard that message, and we're here in town covering it, but you knew there were efforts through back channels and efforts through the administration and obviously in the athletic department and the folks who are involved in promotion and those sorts of things to let people know that they were welcome. These players, these former players, and anybody that's closely associated with the program, please come back, be part of this. We want to celebrate you in a way. And but I could not have realized until I stepped foot into that stadium on Saturday night that the fans would have been so influenced by Willie's message, because that's the only way to explain 60,000 plus. That, and obviously they were smart. They had a concert. They held it at night. They got things in order for once. You had a home baseball game. All of that was true. But it seems that effort by Willie and his staff, it's the little things all the way to the more broad things that we've discussed already, really resonated also with the fans. They are all in.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, it was a collaborative effort. There were a lot of things kind of working in FSU's favor for it to be that special. But at the end of the day, I don't think, if somebody made the comment that on our message boards, after I wrote my column, somebody made the comment that, after what we went through with Jimbo, probably anybody would have been welcomed the way Willie Taggart's been welcomed. And I think to some degree I buy that, but not to the degree that it has been. There's an authenticity about him when he speaks. There's a genuineness that that not just fans relate to, but again, the former players. To me, nobody's going to be kind of a harsher judge than the guys who have been through the program, because again, it is their program, and I think they can see through certain things, and they can tell whether or not somebody's genuine. And again, we'll see how it translates on the field. But in terms of his willingness to be here, his desire to be here, his desire to help Florida State be what it used to be, I think it just resonates with people, and it's the perfect message at the perfect time. Again, because you just got left by a guy who, felt like money was more important than being a part of this program.
Well, and there is an uphill battle to engage in now, because you look around the ACC, most all the spring games have been played, save for Georgia Tech, and I think Virginia hasn't played theirs yet, but everybody else has. And you look and you're reminded of just how good and how deep and how talented Clemson is, and how almost on autopilot that thing is. What about the actual play on Saturday night that you saw did you like? And what do you have grave concerns about? I have a feeling they're going to echo some of my own sentiments, because some of that is obvious, but I want to hear from you without influencing that. What did you see that you said that's going to work right away, and oh boy, they got some problems there?
Some individually, it's hard to evaluate a lot of things
in a spring game
by groups in a spring game. But I think some individual things, certainly on the positive side. I think Jaden Woodby, the freshman freshman safety, is a guy that 9 tackles in his first time on that field. When I asked Willie Taggart about him, he said, right off the bat, he's like, he's a dude. He's proven it. He's ready to play. He's ready to play at a high level. Jalen Brooks, I thought, was what we have been hearing he is. He's very active, a guy that can make a lot of plays. Offensively, everybody was blown away by Tamor and Terry. I knew he was big and athletic, and I knew he could catch the ball. I had no idea he had that kind of speed.
It was awe-inspiring to watch him run alongside LeBourne. That was, that was one of those moments we joked about it last hour of Carlos Williams. I thought of that exact moment in the national championship game.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, because he kind of came from behind, and it was impressive. So there's some individual things like that. I thought obviously, I think this team's going to have some issues. I think it's hard to judge the offensive line because of how shorthanded they've been. But I think that's going to be certainly a big question. And then the quarterback play, I didn't think was probably as crisp as you'd like to see. I think there's plenty of room to improve, but I did like some of the individual athletic performances we saw.
Yeah, I think the overriding concerns begin and end almost with that offensive line and that offensive line alone. There are areas of strengths and weaknesses, and to varying degrees we can have that discussion, but that offensive line, and it is hard to judge in a spring game, like you said, and it was to some degree a mass unit. They've got to get a lot better. That's the area where you realize, had that been live, quarterbacks would have been taking some shots. Let's just put it that way. They would have been taking some shots. Coach Fry's got a lot of work to do. I imagine everybody was somewhat celebrating what they saw. If you're a position coach here after Saturday night, a lot of reasons to celebrate across the board, except with Greg Fry's group.
Well, and that's consistent again with kind of what we've been hearing, and again, in their defense, they were down to 7 or 8 guys for most of the spring, and also. Some of the guys that have been out are key guys. Alec Eberle's a 3-year starter. Jawan Williams is a guy who seems to be penciled in at left tackle. They've had a couple other guys in and out, Mike Arnold and Cole Minshew, and some of those guys who are expected to be contributors. So it's hard to gauge completely, but I don't think unless he's a miracle worker, I don't think it's going to be a team strength. I do think it's going to be a concern, and part of what Willie Taggart and Walt Bell are going to have to do is figure out ways to really minimize that. But I think the big concern to me, again, is going to be, and we talked about it before, I think they'll be able to move the ball, and you can scheme a lot of things, but once you get in the red zone, you got to move somebody. And that's going to be a challenge for this offensive line.
Yeah, 20-20, you can spread people out and from here to Texas and create some one-on-one matchups and so forth. But you get down to that red zone, you have to knock people out of the way and kind of enforce your will there. And Lord knows they have the stable running backs to do it, right? My God, that's a strength that would be the envy, I think, of any team in the country. And that's not overstating it. I mean, there is talent for days at the running back position.
So does the FCC allow you to replay Kalen Laborn's post-game interview?
We can beep it out. We can do things like that, right?
That's awesome. But even when we spoke to him later, after the emotions of the game had worn off, you could still tell, there's so much pent-up frustration for that guy. And he said, look, I don't want to talk about the past, but then he started talking about the past.
Well, I think that's a theme here. I think a lot of people found a lot of levels of frustration they didn't know existed last year. There's no doubt, and that obviously is echoed by the fans. I mean, there's no doubt that there were a lot of people in the stands on Saturday night going, so Terry couldn't see the field last year. He couldn't help us in any way, really. And DJ Matthews couldn't see the field last year. He wouldn't have been any help at all. And after that offense struggled as mightily as it did, we couldn't find reasons to play those guys or the depth of talent we had at running back. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
And look, nobody's been a bigger supporter of Jared Jackson over the last few years. I really like that kid. He's done a great job. And Jared Motlow, a great story.
Yeah, your flag waving for those guys is well documented, sir.
But at the end of the day, if your offense can't find a way to use Tamorrion Terry and DJ Matthews, then the problem is with your offense. It's not with them. Yeah. And, I think people will probably get madder and madder and madder at Jimbo as that spring game went on.
Oh, I was one of them. Yeah, I was there going, what the hell, man? I mean, I get it. I listened to every reason under the sun why they couldn't see the field. And then I'd see another catch and another play and another guy miss and and I'd go, well, I'm not buying it anymore. You had me fooled for a long time, but that's nonsense, sir. And then I thought, be of the moment. Enjoy this. Do not hearken back to last year. Celebrate this moment, which most people did. It was a rousing success. There's probably nobody happier than the fine folks over there in marketing for FSU. As right now, this is an easy sell as we head into the fall.
Oh, man, the entire thing. I mean, really, and everything collaterally around it. It's funny. When I was driving to the stadium and I passed Garnet and Gold and I saw the line down the block and around the corner, I said, what in the world are they giving away free stuff at Garnet and Gold?
Yeah, right.
And it was, Coach Bowden was signing autographs. But again, a year or 2 years ago, if he made an appearance like that, there wouldn't have been a line like that. I mean, people are just so excited to be back with the program again. And I think it's one of those things, and again, this thing is so layered, but, I think some people didn't realize that they weren't as invested as they had been in Florida State football. I think, they just kind of, maybe they thought it was them, that they just kind of were pulling back a little bit. But now, all of a sudden, it's just like a whole just different light on the entire program. And again, that could change with wins and losses. But right now, I can't remember a time since I've been covering FSU that things are as positive as they are right now.
Well, it's what happens when people believe in you and they want to see you succeed because you love the same thing that they love, and it comes across and it's genuine, and people realize you care, in the case of Willie Taggart, as much as they care about the results and about the team and about the family and the history of a program. And that's exactly what people are buying into. Willie's feeling towards the university, the same one they share. And maybe you're right. Maybe they didn't realize collectively as a fan base, because I think that's true of myself, maybe of Tom and others, that, man, it's fun once again to be as emotionally invested and not just to sit down and break down games through X's and O's, but actually be, for a moment on a Saturday night, certainly a fan. And that was self-evident. A lot of fun. It's going to be fun for us to cover it. And at the same time, you're right, buddy. I mean, here's the deal. If they go out and lose to Virginia Tech, despite all this excitement, some of that goes away. You got to win football games, and Willie certainly knows that. He's repeated it time and again. In fact, he's been somewhat awestruck by the fact that he has been so embraced, and he's never even coached a game here.
And what's cool about it is usually fans support a coach because they think of what he can do for them. They hope that this coach is good. They hope they got the right guy because that's going to be good for them and their program. I really think people are hoping Willie does well because they want Willie to do well, which is really kind of a cool thing.
Well, yeah, and again, if they think you're genuine and that you care, then they're going to pull for you. Bobby Bowden related to the fan in a way that very few coaches in the history of the sport ever have, and their undying affection for him was evident almost every year that he was here. And it helped to win a lot of football games, but it was because he was folksy, he cared, he sat and listened to you, he looked you in the eye, he talked to you. Willie Taggart has a lot of those same attributes. He's a real guy, and he does care about the fans, and he cares about former players. And he cares about the university, and I think fans have embraced that. Always good talking to you, brother. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Be well.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, take care. That's Ira Schoffel, warchant.com. He's written a good piece. Corey Clark has written a good piece, and it's a feel-good moment right now around here. There's no shying away from that. I mean, we're all cynical to some degree, and we're beaten over the head with stories, and it gets old in a hurry, and, everybody I think gets a little jaded. But there was just nothing about Saturday night that could leave you jaded. There was nothing about Saturday night that didn't feel right. And I don't want to not embrace that and talk about it, at least on the Monday after, right? Now, we'll all brace ourselves as we ease into the fall and get ready for football games, and the storyline will change. That won't change what just happened, but the storyline will be about the wins and about the losses and where the program's headed.
Yeah, the whole thing is you just can't let that pull the wool over your eyes to the point where you're thinking 2013 is back and we're going to go dominate every team we play. There's a lot of work to be done here.
No,
that O-line is sobering.
Well, they're not on the same. Listen, I've had to, and maybe this has been good too, but I've had to take a broader look at the conference more now than I ever had in my broadcasting career because I'm doing more work for other things. And this is always my love, the afternoon 3 to 6, and we'll do that every day. But as I do other things with SiriusXM and do morning shows and things like that, or ACC shows, I did one this morning. I'm having to read and invest and focus ultimately on almost every program here. Some of it is really monotonous, to be honest with you. I mean, sitting down and breaking down Wake Forest's efforts in recruiting can be difficult. But one thing that it does do, you want to talk about sobering, is, again, you continue to look at the monster that has been built at Clemson, and you realize, and I keep bringing this up, and it probably is I know it bothersome to some people, for lack of a better term. But you realize the depth of talent there and the machine that they've got that thing working as now and the way that operates, as I like to say, at peak efficiency. They're in your division. You can't achieve all of these aspirations that we continue to talk about and want to see achieved and believe are heading towards without getting past them. Miami and Florida and Virginia Tech and all these other teams that you play and that you know are big games, that's fine. It's Clemson, folks. It's Clemson. They are a giant, and we're not there yet.
Yeah, they're a fundamental barrier. But what Ira also said, and we've been kind of hitting on it and touching on it, is so true that you didn't know what you didn't have until you had it again with Willie. I feel like I did a little bit more when I was a college student in terms of the way I care about the program. And listen, it'll sound crazy in a year if we don't play well, because I'll go back, listen to this tape, and say, ugh, geez, well, you sap. But it's true. When you see somebody who has passion for something, think about Coach Sue, for example.
Yeah.
Women's basketball. What she does, the efforts, the lengths that Coach Sue goes through in order to promote the product.
You want that to succeed.
I want her to succeed more than I want the program to succeed. This is like that, except it's with the king. It's with the program that everybody associates with Florida State University first. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it so unique, that he is making those efforts to the former players and to the fans. That's somebody who, like he has to, like he needs to. Whereas it's kind of a luxury. There will be a baseline of people that will always show up at Florida State games. Always. If we play well and we win, look at what we did during Jimbo's streak. Mm-hmm. But he attacks it like you have to fight for the attention of every single fan.
Well, he was greatly disappointed to find out the extent to which this was broken, and he has said that in no uncertain terms. I mean, he has tried to be tactful about it, because you certainly don't want to insult the previous regime, who won a national championship, I might add, and put a slew of players into the NFL and won 29 straight games and achieved at a level we were all dying to see happen. That can't be ignored. And so when that gets brought up, when he talks about changing certain things about the culture, yeah, he'll identify problems and say, well, I've just got to be me and do the things that I know how to do, and we'll get there. And I'm disappointed to see just how, how lacking the locker room was, if you will, in terms of a family atmosphere. But he's also very careful to note that, hey, everybody has a different way of doing things. That group won. I'm hoping to win at that level. This is more fun the way he does it, and we'd like to see that rewarded to win at the same level, because this is easy to embrace. This is a lot easier to get down with than what we just came from. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
The equivalent of Miami through Kentucky bluegrass country, all the way to Seattle, and back again every year. You can count on your Gravely zero-turn mower to get the job done, mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Over 150 new zero turns in stock. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view inventory and pricing. In Thomasville, Georgia.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to give you special savings on the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on earth during the Mahindra Red Tag sale. Hurry in for up to $7,900 in cash back and Red Tag savings. Only from Mahindra.
Up to $7,900 in cash back savings. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view selection.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
In Thomasville, Georgia.
The United States Postal Service has been around since 1775. And since then, you can rely on the Postal Service to make sure what matters to you gets to your mailbox. You'd think you couldn't improve on that. But now, with informed delivery notifications, you'll know when those important packages and letters are coming to your mailbox, with an email every morning telling you what's on the way. It's the reliability of the United States Postal Service matched with the technology of today. It's time to get peace of mind. Sign up now for free at informeddelivery.com. Informed Delivery. If it's in the mail, it's in your email.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Woohoo! Banditos!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
O'Reilly.
Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of O'Reilly conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for only $16.99. Or upgrade to high mileage for $17.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve engine performance with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jake Cameron Show, talking about Clemson is spot on. They're on a different level right now, right, Sam? Yes, unfortunately, I think that is accurate. I think they are. I think that it's you know what's weird about that too, Tom, is I don't feel like we just woke up and that happened. Obviously, this has been growing. They nearly won a national championship against Alabama one year. They did win it the following year, and we know what they are defensively. We know what Brent Venables is. Talked to David Hale this morning, and he was at their spring game, and he was talking about, because I've asked, what is it that is unique right now about why it is they're able to stockpile the kind of talent that they have, and moreover, you know, convincing kids who potentially were going to be first-round picks to come back and for a senior season is, well, it's ridiculous. And it's absolutely frustrating for everybody else in the conference. And he talked about sort of the atmosphere, but also being able to keep assistant coaches. Yes, they've lost a couple of high-profile guys, but one of the reasons that they've been able to keep Brent Venables is that he's happy working there. He doesn't really care to go anywhere else right now. He's had opportunities to go be a head coach, and his son's about to play for Clemson this year, so it's almost like Mickey Andrews was here in Tallahassee. It would have had to have been the right job, and that's the whole thing. When you create that, and Bobby Bowden did a great job with that for years, the continuity of your coaching staff, the ability to keep guys around. You're going to lose a guy here and there for opportunities, and it's going to happen. I understand that. But by and large, he's been able to keep a lot of coordinators around for a long time, and he knows what he doesn't know, and he lets them do their job. Brent Venables is left alone. He's a mad scientist to go over there and do what he does on defense, and he's trusted, and he loves it, and he's got horses, and he produces. He may, at some point, and this is what we have to hope for, and I'll look big picture. Venables is a Kansas State graduate. You have to hope that an opportunity opens up at Kansas State, and it very well might, obviously given that set of circumstances, and they go and ask one of their own to come in and take that thing over. But it's going to take something like that for him to leave. Otherwise, we're stuck with that guy at Clemson for the years to come.
Yeah, exactly. It's a power play issue right now with Coach Snyder, right? He wants his kid to be installed, something along those lines.
A mistake.
There's some kind of nepotism play going on, and he won't leave the position unless he's assured that when he leaves the position, the successor is laid out nice and clean. So you need the boosters to win that battle so they can go get Venables, which is funny. You know, how dominoes fall on the college football landscape. They were talking today on ESPN Radio about the dominoes of quarterback play and how UCLA and Colorado State were linked in this domino effect of, you know, would there be a job available or not? And then the kid gets hurt in spring ball and now transfers, you know, they start moving to different places than they ever thought they would. That's about to happen at Clemson, too. They're in such a good spot with the quarterback position. They're so friggin' loaded that they're going to have a couple of kids that they're running off to other programs, and those other programs, be it in the Big 12 or Pac-12 or Big 10, they're going to get a 5-star athlete. They're going to get a 5-star player because Clemson just has too many quarterbacks. It's incredible.
Well, it's an amazing set of circumstances that he's created, and I can't say it enough that I was really wrong. I think a lot of us were really wrong about Dabo Swinney, but I don't want to also engage in revisionist history. He was, teetering. Early on, this was not a raging success. He wasn't cruising and really operating the way that Clemson is now. He had a vision, and he was trying to convince people of what that was. We saw the antics and kind of labeled him as a clown, especially when you're losing games, when you have opportunities to win in big moments. The so-called Clemsoning effect and all of that was happening. Florida State's rise back to domination was occurring simultaneously, and it looked like he could be in real trouble. He made some great hires. He figured some things out that he needed to adjust. He took on, obviously, the great role of being the recruiter that he is, which he always has been a very good recruiter, and then letting others kind of do what they do. And he turned out to be crazy like a fox. Everybody's bought in now. He says that he wants them to be the model program of college football, quote unquote. He said that during the campus tour that I heard play out on SiriusXM. He talked about that. And he said the brand's never been stronger, and they're just looking to solidify that. So that's what Florida State, that's what we're up against now, is that in your own division, in your own conference, you've got a powerhouse. This isn't Alabama over there in the SEC, whom you figure you're going to have to meet if you're going to win a national championship. It's not Alabama necessarily, because they haven't done it for a sustained period. But Clemson is in a place where they're akin to Alabama and are, any given year, a contender to win the national title. So Willie Taggart and staff are off on the right foot. They've engendered a support that hasn't been here in a while. That's good. Where it's best isn't just in the feel-good warmth of your heart at a stadium in a spring game on Saturday night, but in recruiting, because he's got the kids that have said yes so far, doing a good job of recruiting for him. He's got former players and Florida State alumni reaching out and obviously kind of kindling this support. And a lot of kids realize this could be a program, again, back on the rise. You have to hope he's winning more of those battles than losing, obviously, when you're trying to take down a Clemson right now.
I know it was the F word for Jimbo towards the end of his time here, facilities. And I know that we have committed to, upping the game, upping our game, and whatever our facility situation is going to look like. It's going to get better in the next 3 or 4 years for the football program. But isn't now the time to strike if you're Willie? If you need a couple of extra things for your football program? I just had 60,000 people show up to my spring game. I had 300-plus players come back to campus. I think the support of the Seminole Nation is at an all-time high. Let's go over to the marketing department, guys, and talk about the season ticket sales and how they're up whatever % they are. I need my facility. We need to have some renderings done, and let's get an announcement going so I can continue doing what I'm about to do on the recruiting trail. I would think that's one thing when you're talking about the big picture items between spring football and fall. You would think there's going to be some type of announcement and commitment to, plans and a date and all that kind of stuff, because we need to keep up with the Clemsons of the world. It's the same pitch Jimbo was making, and if you recall when we were talking about that, I agreed in large part with what Jimbo was saying. However, timing matters too.
Well, timing was huge.
And the timing couldn't be more perfect for Willie to make that pitch right now.
But they're already committed to it, Tom, and that's the whole thing. That's what was disingenuous about what Jimbo was doing. He was harping on something that was already in place. There was a plan in place. They just couldn't do it fast enough for his liking. And it was a way to deflect from his failures as a coach. And that was what we all had a problem with, is that it wasn't something that at that time needed to be talked about, certainly not publicly, after losses to teams with inferior talent. You weren't losing because of facilities, and we all knew that was a joke. Willie's still got to coach a game. He's still got to win some games. He's still got to create the momentum on the football field. He has it off the field now. I'm sure behind the scenes those conversations are happening, but this was always something in motion. They're moving forward with it. It's just that stuff takes a lot of money.
I agree. All I'm saying is if you can get extra bells or whistles, the extra 10%, you know what I mean? For little details here or there that could help, make a difference. Now's the time to go ask for that 10% because you haven't lost a game, because you haven't played a game. And you have the support of the fan base at large. This is a good time to call up to your high-priced boosters and say, well, here it is, guys. Get on board for this.
Yeah.
We already have our plans for the facility, but you could add this feature or that feature. If I'm Willie, this is when I stockpile because the goodwill might never be higher for him.
I think that's true. It's a dangerous game. It's one you have to be willing to play. It's certainly something you have to embrace and understand that the behind-the-scenes conversations with fabulously wealthy and influential people take place at all these major programs, and who better than to try to elicit those dollars than a head coach who's extremely popular right now, no question. But it's also something where you realize you can ask for the world before you've ever done anything on the football field, and the backlash can be pretty swift if you go out and lose that first game to Virginia Tech. You stumble through a first season where you're implementing all kinds of new things, and maybe you lose 4 or 5 games, and people feel a sense of resentment. Now, they'll always like that you're genuinely in love with Florida State, just as they are. So you're right, they have that shared passion. But he strikes me as a guy who's certainly very measured and a guy who understands that because he's repeatedly said this, hey, I appreciate the support. I'm amazed by it. Sometimes I'm emotionally affected by how kind everybody has been to me, and I haven't even coached a game. But he'll repeatedly say it is a honeymoon phase, and I haven't coached a game yet. I know how quickly this can turn if I don't win. And it's good to hear him say it, because I like knowing that he knows. It is ultimately, whether it's the money and donations you're talking about, facility upgrades and all, it is about winning and losing.
Yes, and I agree. However, selfishly, I would like, if there is losing to come, I want the program to be in as good a position as possible. So I think you might be able to get some more checks stroked in your direction right now. That way, if we have to, I mean, this is cold-blooded mercenary fan me right now. In 3 years, we have to make a change. I want more bells and whistles for my program, for the next guy to come work with. It's like the IPF wasn't here until Jimbo got here, and then he left, and Willie has the IPF to work with, and other little things that Jimbo set up. Were we done? By no means were we done and, on par with Alabama or Clemson.
Yeah.
But it's a better job than the one that Jimbo found. So if we have to go make a change, you've got some opportunity right here in these 4 months to go get a lot of money for our program to make it as good as possible, either for Willie when he gets his next contract or the next guy in.
I don't disagree with that. That's fine. I think we're on the same page there. I think it's certainly something that should be done behind the scenes. I do think that
he won't go to the media for it.
No, you can't. All the goodwill that's been obviously brought to the surface over the weekend and through these last 4 months, that could be undone quickly if you start clamoring for facilities and you haven't won anything.
I wasn't saying go to the media. We all know that's not in the playbook.
That's not a good play.
You take that out the binder.
You get that out of that playbook with the quickness. I'm just sitting here looking at depth charts, realizing that, man, quarterback battle here in Tallahassee, quarterback battle down in Miami. They got to make a change there, right? You would think Malik Rozier can't hold on to that job. A so-called quarterback battle at Clemson, although after the weekend that was, Dabo says that, no, Kelly Bryant's our guy. He's good. He's fine. My ass. There's no chance. I mean, after watching that kid.
Maybe there is a chance. I mean, Cole Stout did start here.
I did bring that up to him at the ACC meetings, and he was ready for that question. I don't think he appreciated it, but he answered it professionally. Wow, we're all over the map because we're so excited about ACC football, and it's too many months away. Damn it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Have surgery on a torn ligament in his thumb and is expected to miss 8 to 12 weeks. Pirates second baseman and leadoff hitter Josh Harrison sidelined 6 weeks with a fracture in his left hand. Today's Cardinals-Cubs game postponed because of a forecast calling for inclement weather and 20-degree wind chills. That'll be made up on July 1st as part of a doubleheader.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
Truck drivers, check this out. Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee took a brand new Nissan Titan and a brand new F-150 around town, parked them side by side with a compare sign between them. The results were crazy. People couldn't stop checking out the Titan. They looked under the hood, sat behind the wheel, and called friends on the phone, took pictures. So if you have not seen the new Nissan Titan, you need to come see what you're missing. There are a lot of reasons why Truck Trends magazine named the Nissan Titan the 2017 Truck of the Year. In head-to-head comparisons versus F-150, Titan has better handling, better 0 to 60 acceleration, more horsepower, more torque, and frankly, it's better looking. And the topper? Titan costs less than F-150. TruckYow.com joked that the Nissan Titan XD is the best F-150 you can buy. In April, save up to $10,000 off MSRP on Nissan Titans at Kraft. This Nissan Town Tallahassee may soon be turning into a Titan Town too. Kraft Nissan near Costco on Mahan Drive.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus. Come watch professional tennis in your own backyard. The 19th annual Tallahassee Tennis Challenger, April 21st through the 28th at Forest Meadows Tennis Center. Rising stars and tour veterans battle for ATP points and a wild card draw into the French Open. Fun for the whole family. Kids 10 and under, admitted free. For more information, go to TallahasseeChallenger.com.
There is a sound no business owner should ever hear. It could mean you're out of ink, paper, or maybe that old printer is done for good.
I think we lost him.
Go to Staples. Staples has low prices every day on a great selection of ink, paper, and the latest printers. Now at Staples, get 50% off the HP OfficeJet Pro 6900 series. Staples, your total printing solution.
While supplies last. Valid on SKU 225-6781 and 225-6786. Ends 4/21/18.
I have known for some time now that some insurance companies are not exactly being truthful with their customers, stating such things as if you do not use one of their approved body shops, they will not guarantee the repairs, or it may cost you more out of pocket. Here at Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, the work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MV46050.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. You know, lost in all of the buzz that's going on with Florida State football and the excitement about what that might entail come this fall is a free fall for the Florida State baseball team, which is in need of a win. I need to get some wins going here.
Tough Love, where you at?
Tough Love is surprised to see that Duke is a 30-win club and in first place in the Coastal. 30-7. What the hell's going on at Duke? So on the one hand, I say it's terribly disappointing on a spring weekend to have 2 games at home, and the excitement is real, and we're all ready to kind of watch it win and make our way over into the stadium. I understand it's just a game, or in this case 2 games, but to not win either one of them is a little disappointing.
Well, we won the spring game, so that's good.
Hard to lose the spring game, right? Yeah, barring injury, and we knocked on wood before stepping in that would be the case, and I think came out all right on that end.
How long was it before everybody got to their seats? Was it second quarter? Or?
There were a lot of people already in play. I mean, I took out, you've said the picture I tweeted out.
Yeah.
That was well into the game when I took that picture, and I was busy talking with people in the Champions Club and having just a good time with all the other Noles, and we were enjoying ourselves. So it kind of happened quickly. At one point, I thought, okay, this looks about like 45, somewhere in there. Next thing I looked up, I said, well, this is well over that. And then I looked up one more time and went, well, good Lord, we've practically sold the place out. And I was just, frankly, I was really happy for Willie because he's talked about how much it would mean to get everybody on board and to come back and in a celebration of who they are and what the program is. And that's why I think people did show up. But yeah, that game went into extra innings, and so it took a little time.
Right. Plus the lines outside in general.
Yeah, we were well into the game before it filled up to the degree that you see in that picture.
So I think that the feed for the game on Watch ESPN, the ACC digital network, was duplicated on the big screen because you'd see a lot of people looking up at the Jumbotron, and it was part of the actual play-by-play feed. There were some moments that if they could do this more often in the fall, Doak would be an incredibly much more engaging place. So they're playing music and the players are dancing.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the stands and people in the stands that are dancing. Everybody was dancing. I'm watching this thing on replay, and I'm just laughing. It seemed like there was a devil-may-care attitude with everybody.
Yeah, it was a giant party. I mean, it was a giant party, and it helped certainly that you just had a perfect evening. I mean, just everything that...
Weather, too.
Yeah, I mean, It was absolutely stunning. Everything about it. I missed you, buddy. I thought, man, Tom would like this because the atmosphere outside the stadium was great. The atmosphere inside the stadium carried on what was happening out there. And then, again, it's a fun product. There's no getting around this. They're going to be fun to watch. I mean, I really just think that the style of play, given what we're coming from, and getting opportunities to get guys in space and to create angles, and you're going to see a lot of big plays. And I think, when you couple that with a yearning fan base wanting to see something better than what they saw at the end of last year, and a belief that something bigger is possible and now, then you get what we had, which is a celebration and a party. And you'd love to believe that some of that can carry over into the fall when the games are real and the competition is much stiffer than it is in a spring game. And, I think it's important if you want to maintain that to get off on the right foot, but it's going to be awfully difficult when you think about what Bud Foster does on defense, and he puts pressure on quarterbacks. He does it in a lot of different ways, but he never backs down. That is what he's going to do. And if we're going to sit here on a Saturday and celebrate all that looks to be possible and all that seems to be changed about the program, we should do so with the knowledge that your first opponent is probably not who you'd want to play, given that your offensive line is your weakness.
Yeah, it was like when Jameis was making his debut for the Bucs, right? And he's playing Mariota.
And I told you, this is the worst possible scenario. You knew it too, but you were facing a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator in Dick LeBeau.
Yep, and then Mariota was going against the cover 2 that was run in high school last year.
So you had an antiquated defense going against a first-year quarterback who would easily be able to read what he was seeing because, again, it's a defense that had seen its better days. for the other team, and then you had our guy going against one of the greatest, if not the greatest, defensive coordinators in the history of football. That wasn't good. This won't quite be that.
No.
This won't quite be that, but you do have a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator who brings pressure, and then when you think you've seen all of it, he brings more pressure from other areas of the field that you don't expect. It is throw the kitchen sink at you. And I do think if you have an offensive line that's a little tenuous at best, then yes, that's a problem.
Thankfully, you have a quarterback, or whoever it's going to be, at least a couple of quarterbacks, if it's not Hockman that wins the job, that have been through this. They're at least you're not dealing with the same thing, which has been the storyline for the last couple of years. Well, it's his first go-around. No, James has played in a bunch of big games. We didn't win them all. In fact, we didn't win many of them. But he's played in a lot of atmospheres, a lot of big games. DeAndre, same thing. But it's funny, when you were describing about all the angles he's going to create in the exotics, I thought to myself, well, if the receivers block it up on the perimeter, that means that at least our base play, our throw to DJ will be okay. And then the other thing is we'll have to make sure that if they're bringing somebody pressure from the slot, they're going to get the passing lane there. So
lanes there.
I was already playing the game of chess, and we need to slow down there because that's how you get depressed. If you play the game of chess in April, and you have all this time to wait before we actually start the year.
It should be noted, and you just hit on something that is very important in this offense. Really, it's important for all offenses, and certainly Jimbo Fisher stressed this and didn't always get it. Sometimes he did, and we always recognize those who were willing to sacrifice in that offense to do what I'm about to describe, and that is receivers blocking downfield. You just talked about it. They did that on Saturday night. You saw, by and large, the efforts from the receivers to block in the run game. You saw them blocking consistently, too. The effort was there, and so that's going to be important. You've got some big guys that can do that, too. So that's where a first down becomes a touchdown.
Right. Well, with the athletes we have, right? Putting them in space, yes, there's one man to beat kind of a thing. There's one thing that they had on the broadcast, and I don't know that they put it on the Jumbotron at halftime, but they mashed up all of the episodes of The Chase that they put out on social media into one 4 or 5 minute montage. And, buddy,
as if you didn't need more of a reason to be pumped beyond what seems rational.
Okay, so they have an interview with Willie. They show the crowd. Then they talk about the chase, go to break. They come back, they play the chase. They come back from break, and it's the Golden Girls. For recruiting purposes, why don't you hit a grand slam, a 5-run home run? That is what you do. That's how you get people excited about the program.
It was the in-stadium crew, the coaches, the marketing department's grand slam. I mean, this really was the best I've seen in 20 years of covering these games, by far. They utilized every aspect of what they had, including that Jumbotron.
End zones. What to do with them?
They were awesome.
Put them back that way?
Yeah, I'd leave them that way. But I have to admit I'm a sucker for that. I mean, I like old school stuff like that, and I like. Obviously my dad taking me to games in the end zone looked like that. I was in school here, and all that. I'm for that.
I liked when we changed to the garnet, but that was pretty sharp looking.
Yeah, everything about you can get caught up in the flow, man. And I'm excited about all the things that do. By the way, we're going to probably wear 4,000 uniform combinations this year. I think he's fully embraced that, and the kids are excited about that. Some of them we're going to cringe at, and others are going to go, all right, let's stick with that.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
Truck drivers, check this out. Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee took a brand new Nissan Titan and a brand new F-150 around town, parked them side by side with a compare sign between them. The results were crazy. People couldn't stop checking out the Titan. They looked under the hood, sat behind the wheel, and called friends on the phone, took pictures. So if you have not seen the new Nissan Titan, you need to come see what you're missing. There are a lot of reasons why Truck Trends magazine named the Nissan Titan the 2017 Truck of the Year. In head-to-head comparisons versus F-150, Titan has better handling, better 0 to 60 acceleration, more horsepower, more torque, and frankly, it's better looking. And the topper? Titan costs less than F-150. TruckYow.com joked that the Nissan Titan XD is the best F-150 you can buy. In April, save up to $10,000 off MSRP on Nissan Titans at Kraft. This Nissan Town Tallahassee may soon be turning into a Titan Town too. Kraft Nissan near Costco on Mahan Drive.
And now Jeff and Eddie waste my time instead of recording a commercial.
I know we got to record this one, but remember that time with the thing and the guy?
Oh, and then we did that.
It was by the pool. It was by
right,
the pool.
and then
that guy jumped. The one guy
with the Speedo.
That was ridiculous.
Man, what a day! And then the guy
he came up with the food.
The truck.
He didn't even know.
You know,
had no idea.
And how about those girls?
If we could only recreate that, ridiculous. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Major League Soccer is back, and Tallahassee's premier viewing location is Finnegan's Wake Irish Bar. Cheer on your favorite MLS club at Tallahassee's only pub with an authentic Irish bar. Watch matches while you drink from Tallahassee's largest selection of Irish whiskey, or enjoy a pint from their wide selection of imported drafts. Locally owned and operated, Finnegan's is open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. Finnegan's Wake Irish Pub, right off Thomasville Road next to 5th and Thomas. Finnegan's Wake Irish Pub. Come join it for a pint, a match, and more stories.
Commercial lawnmowers don't have odometers, but if they did, you might be surprised to see you could be mowing thousands of miles a year. That's why Gravely zero-turn mowers are built for the long haul. So when you're mowing the equivalent of Miami through Kentucky bluegrass country, all the way to Seattle, and back again every year, you can count on your Gravely zero-turn mower to get the job done, mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Over 150 new zero turns in stock. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view inventory and pricing. TNT. In Thomasville, Georgia.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to give you special savings on the toughest tractors and utility vehicles on earth during the Mahindra Red Tag Sale. Hurry in for up to $7,900 in cash back and red tag savings. Only from Mahindra.
Up to $7,900 in cash back savings. Visit TNTSupercenter.com to view selection.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
TNT. In Thomasville, Georgia.
Tired of your normal two-piece kit? Makita and Cornerstone are back together with a better-than-ever offer. Purchase a Makita brushless premium hammer drill and impact kit and receive your choice of a free bare tool, plus a free 6-amp-hour battery. That's a total of 3 batteries, a $150 value. Not to mention, buy any 3 Makita brushless tools and get a free starter kit, 1 tool bag, 2 5-amp-hour batteries, and 1 dual-bay charger. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave or 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, another one and done for Duke. Freshman forward Wendell Carter Jr. declared for the NBA draft. He's rated the number 6 overall prospect in the draft by ESPN's Jonathan Givony. Carter's the 4th Blue Devils freshman leaving for the NBA, joining Gary Trent Jr., Trayvon Duval, and Marvin Bagley III. One NBA playoff game in the East and one in the West. On this Monday night, the Red Hot 76ers, winners of 17 straight, are home to the Heat in Game 2. The play of Ben Simmons, one reason Philly owns a 1-0 series lead, explains ESPN NBA front office insider Bobby Marks.
I've never seen a rookie put a performance like that Saturday night where he took over in the second half there. He's got such a great feel for the game where I had Jason Kidd in New Jersey, but he makes everyone so much better.
Bobby Marks on Golick and Wingo. Warriors welcome the Spurs for Game 2, 10 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Golden State up 1-0 has won 10 consecutive home playoff games. NHL Avs defenseman Samuel Girard out for Game 3 tonight against the Predators with an upper body injury. Colorado down 2-0. NFL, the Vikings signed linebacker Eric Kendricks to a 5-year, $50 million extension, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. The deal includes $25 million guaranteed. With a deep group of running backs in the NFL draft and the need for more salary cap space, the Broncos are releasing running back C.J. Anderson. Baseball, Tampa Bay Times reports Rays center fielder Kevin Kiermaier will have surgery on a torn ligament in his thumb and is expected to miss 8 to 12 weeks. Pirates second baseman and leadoff hitter Josh Harrison sidelined 6 weeks with a fracture in his left hand. Today's Cardinals-Cubs game postponed because of a forecast calling for inclement weather and 20-degree wind chills. That'll be made up on July 1st as part of a doubleheader.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. All things celebratory today. What a great weekend. What a spring game and debut for Willie Taggart and his staff. By the way, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. I know the Tropos has been bad today, and so some of you might find levels of frustration that cause you to change the channel or come back at a later time. But what I will tell you and remind you is always when this happens, and there's nothing we can really do about Tropos. Now, we also had a problem at our tower, which we've remedied.
Yeah, storm damage, believe it or not.
I do believe it.
Was it a bad storm yesterday?
Meteor-sized storm. It was one that woke me up with a lightning strike directly above my house, I think, at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. But beyond that, it was just a lot of rain and some wind. The point is, though, about the Tropos stuff, or that you're running into interference, real quick, the WTSM app, it is free. It is free. You can download it. You can listen to the show that way, too.
I'm sorry. I was just laughing because you mentioned that I woke you up, and it reminds me of a classic story from my grandfather. Anyway, the lightning struck, and he was in his chair, and he opened his eyes. He goes, Jesus. And then he falls right back asleep. Yeah. I apologize.
Well, I couldn't fall right back asleep. But that said, online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Don't forget about the WTSM app, and always go back, get caught up at your leisure. All 3 hours posted, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Upon the conclusion of the show on Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. Also on YouTube, if you'd like to watch us perform our radio duties, you can type in ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Tonight, a little lightning action.
That's correct.
To go up 3-0.
Yeah, Game 3 up in New Jersey. They switched goalies, Jeff. That's never a good sign.
No. Yeah, they're in trouble.
Schneider is the better player historically, but he hasn't won a game this calendar year.
Got some issues there at Jersey. Let's hope the sweep is in full effect here. It's not to be had tonight, obviously, but a chance to go up 3-0. The show has all been about the spring game and the fallout, and I mean the positive fallout of the spring game from the spring game, and it's been a lot of fun the last 48 hours or so, kind of talking about what Willie Taggart has established here and the positive momentum moving forward. Lord knows we need it. Again, I'll continue to talk big picture stuff here. We are behind Clemson. Florida State is behind Clemson, and it's not that close. Now, at the skill positions, it is that close. But the offensive and defensive lines and the depth of talent there are what separate the two programs big time right now. And that's an area where Florida State has a lot of catching up to do. I do like certainly what I'm seeing, though, with what Willie's going to implement on offense. I think Harlan Barnett's going to do great things on defense, too. So I think we're moving in the right direction. You want athletes in space. You want to run more plays, not less plays when you have greater talent. Florida State's now going to do that. We know that. How quickly can all of this translate into wins and losses and wins on the recruiting trail? This is all part of a bigger talking point. And, again, today has been a celebration of what happened on Saturday evening. It's a tip of the cap to Willie. It's confirmation that the fan base has bought in, that the former players have bought in, that the current players, most importantly, have bought in, and that you've got things moving in the right direction with the off-the-field stuff and in terms of rallying, the rallying cry for the fan base and everybody being in lockstep. That's all seemingly in place now. I think that's true. But as far as wins and losses, that offensive line is going to be an area of great concern as we move forward. I think everything else will be fine. I do think that as we move this offseason towards that game against Virginia Tech, that everybody will really be – I mean, that atmosphere on Saturday night is a glimpse of what we're going to have come that first game of the year on a Monday night.
Yeah, it's a warning shot, right?
Ooh, I'll tell you what. And Willie addressed it. He talked about it. And he said to his team, the fans have come out. They've shown you that they appreciate you. They appreciate the hard work. Let's show them through our level of play how much we appreciate them. Again, the man has said and done everything right since he stepped foot on campus. And again, Saturday night was another shining example of that. But the next big step is about the real games, the games that matter, the games that count, and the games that shape opinion moving forward. Everything up until now passed the test with flying colors. And it's cool to see. I think we all as fans loved watching what took place Saturday night. I think I'm more than impressed with some of the skill positions on both sides of the ball. But the games are won in the trenches. And how quickly Florida State can get and how quickly Coach Fry can get that offensive line playing at a much higher level will dictate whether or not the season is a great success.
Understanding that you're absolutely right about the trenches. And a side note quickly, anybody would lose to Clemson with what they have defensive line, wise this year. Just,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Most anybody all time with what Clemson's put together.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
It's insane. That can obviously be the ultimate buzzkill if you can't, get a yard when you need a yard. If you can't block it up and we have third straight year of chalk out lines on the field. That's obviously something that's going to kill all the energy in the stands. And if the quarterbacks were live on Saturday, I think some of the enthusiasm might have been sapped out of Doak Campbell Stadium. However, with all of that said, there are so many pieces here to work with, and the thing that I walked away from watching this again on the ACC network, there is a chance that we're going to have a demeanor that fans are going to attach to, beyond the fact that they like the coach and the vote of support for the coach was there. They showed up in force, 60-plus thousand people. There are a lot of players who love the game and love to play hard and love to play physical. I think there might be an identity forming here for the fall where we might not win 11 games, but I think we're going to play to the echo of the whistle, and I think we're going to fight for every yard, and that's something that people can attach to right away because there's going to be more of those plays, not less of those plays.
Yeah, and you don't have to go back too far in your memory bank there to see a team that elicited that same sort of affection and connection with the fan base, and that's the 2013 team. A team that would hit you, a team that wanted to dominate you, a team that we were building towards in 2011 and 2012. We were a year later than we thought we'd be, but that's what we were moving towards, and obviously Jameis Winston put them over the top. But his passion for the game was shared by almost everybody else in that starting group across the board, and they all held each other accountable. I think we're moving back into an era of accountability. That is something Willie has also brought. We can talk about engendering a feeling of support from former players and alumni and boosters to the point where we're all excited to enter that stadium again like we were on Saturday night. But what you have to get is players to take ownership of your program, to believe in the message, and hold each other accountable. And when you talk about guys that love to play the game and have a passion for it and will come up and hit you, that's what this defense looks to have. But they also have a lot of fresh faces. So they haven't been asked to be the man in a game setting yet. They have the mental makeup, they have the physical tools, but it's different when the lights shine bright and the games are being played and the wins and the losses they count, and it's not a spring game. I think the talent is there, but there are a lot of guys that haven't been asked to be stars yet. They will become the fall.
Well, and I think part of it, and the reason I bring it up and I get excited about this, is it's easiest to look at with a coach and a quarterback. If you have an offensive coordinator for a coach, like we do and we've had, you can tell when personalities align, right? You can kind of see if the player is an extension of what the coach either wants the offense to be or what the coach personally is. Jameis, fiery competitor. Jimbo, fiery competitor. They're both perfectionists. It was a match made in heaven. Well, Harlan came in day one when we were at the signing day ceremony, and he was talking to the people saying it's going to be about aggressiveness. We're going to get downhill.
Attack.
We're going to hit people. And it looks like he has personalities on that defense that match his personality as a coordinator. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but I think that might help streamline this process. If you had a bunch of technique-laden guys who were more about being technical and creating angles, but they didn't have a little bit extra after the whistle, maybe it doesn't work as well. But just early indicators, if you're looking for what this team is going to look and feel like on the field, they love to play the game. They seem to like each other a lot, which is nice too, but they like to play the game physically.
Well, think about this. A guy who really couldn't be a big part of what's going on in spring, Emmett Rice. Now, what did he get in trouble for?
Yeah.
Hitting guys in practice, blowing up Naquan Murray, things like that. Jimbo that day flipped out about when he loves to hit people. He'll be back in the fall, right? He'll be a guy, be ready to go full go. Jaden Woodby, the freshman who obviously we're all really excited about, 9 tackles in a spring game, got a nastiness to him, has the body type to do it. Then you're talking about legacy players, too, that are on this defense in the form of Stanford Samuels. Obviously, I think Amari Gainer's going to get some playing time, looks the part already. But then think about DeKalen Brooks, who was all over the field on Saturday. You got guys that I think you're right, love to play the role, and guys that people will attach to and who have some famous last names, and all of it engenders a thought of kind of a tenacity and a nastiness on this defense.
Well, and again, too, I mean, you think about the body types at receiver when you're talking about Keith Gavin and Terry. I mean, these are physical players on the perimeter that hopefully, we talked about a little last hour, hopefully they're going to be consistent in the blocking game because this offense is going to require a lot of that. But then you have a Trey McKitty as well on offense, who's a big body, and people just bounce off of him and flash for a couple of plays up the seams. And we know this offense; you'll see wide open receivers at least a few times a game just because of the speed we go. He seems like a perfect fit for it. And then at tailback, you have a two-headed monster with the 5 stars. Well, I guess Jaquez was a 5-star too. But think about those imposing bodies that you can rotate in and out with Cam finishing runs the way he does. And we got to see LeBourne for the first time, and he was the outstanding player of the game.
Yeah, and think about Amir Rasul and think about Jaquez Patrick.
Right, these are guys who finish runs. And, the offensive line may need some help this year. Cam can be an eraser of some mistakes. Jaquez's body type can be an eraser of something where if he hits somebody straight up in the hole. There were a couple of 3rd and 4th down runs last year. We may not be bowl eligible without some of the stuff that Jaquez Patrick pulled off in short yardage.
Yeah.
There's a lot to work with here from a toughness standpoint, and I think that's going to make the transition just a little bit more smooth.
I just also like the idea that at the pace they're going to play at, you really are limiting what defenses can do. And last year, my frustration, well, there were many of them, but some of my frustration was that we played in a way that allowed defenses to overcome their deficiencies from a talent standpoint because they could substitute at will and get the right personnel on the field to match our groupings, and you're really not going to see that as much this year. That's the thing. You're going to put them in conflict from angles, and you're going to spread them out, and you're going to do all of those things. That'll help you in the run game. It'll help your offensive line out as well. But you're also going to guarantee that defenses can't always substitute whenever they want to be able to match what you're doing.
And more than young receivers who are talented playing in this game and showing out, which is the number one thing, I thought they communicated pretty well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you take a look at some of the packets of the game where we're going a little bit faster, both quarterbacks were very good at getting everybody organized into the line, but the receivers have to communicate as a segment group with each other when you have trips left or right. Who's on the line of scrimmage, who's covering somebody up. We had one ineligible receiver downfield call that I can remember where a tight end was covered. But other than that, pre-snap, it seemed like these guys were communicating very quickly. And what was one of the biggest gripes of Jimbo's time, even when we were in the midst of 29 in a row, receivers didn't know where to line up and what to do.
Right.
So it looks like it's not done yet. There were still some mistakes, but it looks like their communicating is is pretty streamlined here.
Couple of quick questions that were brought in on Twitter at Jay Cameron Show. From my perspective, Hockman seemed to make better decisions at the quarterback spot. Am I alone in this? No, I don't think you're alone in this. I thought that the quarterback play was a little uneven. I also think Bailey Hockman had the much better lineup to work with, especially at wide receiver, to say the least.
Yeah, well, if you look at the defensive line play too, James had a much tougher day. He had a much tougher task to deal with that front four coming at him. And that's why they called so many quick bubbles in this game, because they knew there was just such a deficiency there. So James had the tougher of it, not only with skill players around him, but the line that was coming at him too, I think.
Shannon writes at Jay Cameron Show, @_Tom Lang. I get the excitement for football, but it was disheartening to see Dickhauser Stadium empty out as the ACC game went into extra innings to go watch a scrimmage. Well, I got you, Shannon, but football is king, and it's not close, especially when you're talking about a new coach, a new system, and a welcoming back of Bobby Bowden, amongst others. The fans want to see that. They're going to go to that every time. That isn't about a lack of respect for Florida State baseball. It's more about an affinity and love and passion for Florida State football that trumps all other sports at this university. It's not remotely close. At Jay Cameron Show, I'm 100% on board with Taggart and think change was needed. But if LeBourne and Terry play last year, are we sitting here talking about a 9-3 2017 campaign? I don't know. There was a lot wrong. I think it's maddening to look at guys like that, look at a guy like DJ Matthews who couldn't get on the field until Jimbo was basically ushered out. It's hard to understand how those oversights could have happened without first acknowledging that a guy who's been really good as a talent evaluator dropped the ball and seemed to have his head elsewhere. And when you do that, resentment grows, because in addition to not having those guys on the field, whether that's LeBourne or Terry or Matthews, you're not offering scholarships to a quarterback. You're not even recruiting a quarterback. You're not even offering a Jaden Woodby who desperately wants to be here. You can go down the list of things that happen that leave you scratching your head that then further build resentment, and I don't really want to do that today. I also don't know that that necessarily changes the record from a year ago, because this was a fundamentally broken operation last year. Maybe you throw an extra win in there, maybe, but I can't know that.
No, if Kane-Do turns out to be a dominant force, in the front four, then yes, that would change things. That's the number one thing we missed last year. In a lot of those close games, if we just had a DeMarcus Walker-like presence, I think we would have closed a little bit stronger. But offensively speaking, I mean, you already had Cam and Jaquez at tailback.
You could have used DJ Matthews and Tamron Terry.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying they wouldn't improve the equation. Absolutely, but when you're running at a snail's pace, they're going to get, 3-4 targets a game max a piece?
Yeah, that's another aspect.
And then they're going to run the wrong route one time, and Jimbo's going to put him back on the bench. So even if they saw the field, he was hard to please. He was really hard to please.
Guys that could have helped out in that return game.
Yeah. Hey, man, he was...
Some guys that could have really helped out in that return game, my man. That was, woo. I tell you what. Yeah, we may be looking back at that for many years to come. But anyhow... It's not about what Saturday night was. Saturday night was a celebration of what's now and what's new and where we're headed. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
to assist you with all your needs. Call them today at 575-1811 or stop by today at 130 Progress Drive behind TCC.
At Advance Auto Parts, we offer you the quality parts you want and knowledge you need to help get you back on the road. And we're always looking for ways to help you save. Right now, get CarQuest conventional motor oil for just $2.96 a quart. Talk about an amazing price. Plus, find great prices on CarQuest's full line of motor oil. Go to Advance or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores to take advantage of this great offer while it lasts. Advance Auto Parts, where oil is priced like it should be.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
With this job, having two hands won't cut it, which is why I thank the stars I have a third. Grainger. When my two hands are full, I fully rely on Grainger. They're America's #1 source for industrial-grade supplies. So, whether I'm fixing a furnace or fastening a faucet, Grainger hands me what I need when I need it, which makes me a pretty lucky guy. Because when it comes to needing an extra hand, Grainger's got your back. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
And Laybourne are on the field at the same time, which we saw. And I went, okay, that's going to be a problem for the defense. I mean, I'm telling you, if you're able to, first of all, you're able to help your offensive line a little bit just by formations. Spreading people out as much as they are. That's going to help. At some point, you're going to have to be able to line up and run the football. I get that.
When we were talking about receivers will line up basically next to the coaches, we weren't kidding.
No, and it does make me laugh that coaches refer to that as spitting on the sideline. They are indeed spitting on the side. They are that far out. And listen, the players are going to love this. The skill position players in particular, they're going to find one-on-one matchups. They're going to create one-on-one matchups. I think what it all adds up to, You try to refrain from saying things that you're 100% certain of based on what you saw in a spring game, any spring game. Now, there are things you can tell. I mean, you can, we've said this before, that spring game we were at when we saw Jameis Winston, you could tell quarterback play was going to be elevated, that guy's skill set was greater than others we had seen at the position, that guy's acumen for the game, arm strength, all of that knowledge, it was on display. So you could reasonably expect that you were going to get better quarterback play. And those kinds of things, I think you can walk out of a spring game and say, no matter what the yardage numbers were, the score, or whatever those situations were, Yeah, I can discern that. Just like at Clemson, they can rightfully discern that their depth of defensive talent is the envy of the country, especially on the defensive line. Wave after wave of big-ass dudes that are just dominant. Well, that's you can take that away from that game. You know that. But for me, I really got to thinking about, well, what do I know is going to happen? Or what do I think I can predict and be reasonably comfortable saying is going to happen? All right. Well, I can't tell you that instantly Florida State is going to knock off the likes of Clemson, who right now are the standard in the ACC. And I can't even tell you that I know we're going to line up on that first game Monday night against Virginia Tech and walk out of Doak Campbell victorious. I'm not saying we won't, but I don't know that. But I do know that the days of playing close games, 17-10 against Duke, or scoring late against Wake Forest to pull it out, and that's gone. We're done here. I'm not saying there's not going to be occasional years where something weird happens, because that's true of everybody. Every now and then there's just a weird game where you're like, look at this, NC State can beat Clemson on the road at Clemson. Like that can happen, right? But by and large, what I think is about to happen when we exploit teams by running more plays, not less plays, and we get these matchups and you have the better athletes, we're welcoming back to Tallahassee a number of fierce ass-kickings. The Wake Forests of the world and Dukes of the world and Virginias of the world, and any given year, you could throw in whoever you want in that list of bottom feeders in the ACC. They're going to get back to taking those ass kickings. That's what's happening here. Florida State is going to out-athlete people, put people in space, and roll teams by a lot. Now, I don't know whether, and this will be the big test, they will consistently do what they need to do, which is to get back to the college football playoff and compete for national titles instantly in the new regime. I don't know that, because your offensive line play has to be so much better. And to beat really good teams, you have to win in the trenches. You don't always have to be dominant in the trenches to beat the bejesus out of a Duke, or out of a Wake Forest, or out of these days North Carolina, who has fallen off the mountain. I mean, they won one conference game a year ago. People forget they're awful. So teams like that, you're going to line up, spread them out, get the ball out of your hands quickly, and you're going to beat the ever-living hell out of them. And I think that's a safe assumption about what's going to change here for the better almost immediately.
Yes, I agree. And to look on the other side of that coin and not be negative about it, just truthful. Sometimes things might sound negative, but they're just the truth. Games are going to take longer.
Oh, without question.
There's a lot of plays. I mean, you could feel it, mentioned it before, but by the time you get to the end of the first quarter, by the time you get to the half before the flag football game, you realize how many more plays we're running. Like, God, there is so much information I've had to take in. It's more exhausting to watch us. Again, not being negative.
No, it's just different. It's just different.
You have to be on your toes at all times. It's just like you'll often see a TV crew reference that, boy, they keep moving. We can't even roll replays right now. That's us. Once in a while, we got to see it as a novelty, or if we checked in at the Big 12 because we're kicking off at 3:30.
Every freaking week, yeah.
So we're watching a nooner Big 12 game or something. You see that and you go, oh, man. This is some stuff right here. And then we go watch our offense, which ran in second gear. But you really have to think differently and process differently and be more focused when you're watching us, because you're just going to be too damn late. You're not going to see what you need to see.
I'll give you a great example of that. I talked to Charles Arbuckle, who does he's a color analyst, has covered the ACC. He was on the call last year when Florida State lost to Boston College 35-3. And he said that, we'd go do the Syracuse game where Dino Babers is coaching, or we'd go do, and he'd name whatever games that he was assigned to that weekend. And he'd say, look, depending on what we were watching, I knew I had only a certain amount of time to make this assessment or give this insight or write down a note to get back to later, because the next play was going to be underway. But when I did the Florida State-Boston College game, I had to calm myself down. I was so used to being in fast mode that I didn't realize I had time to get up and go get a cup of coffee. I had time to make myself a sandwich. I surely had time, just as the defense did, to make whatever substitution that they needed to make. He said that to me. He said, when I watched Florida State play, I thought, I could make a phone call. I got plenty of time between plays. Now, and he wasn't saying that
right
to be disrespectful, but it was accurate. One of the slowest tempos in all of college football, and he brought that up today.
Well, we didn't go breakneck on Saturday. We're still gearing up. You can see it in spurts, and there was one series where I thought, well, good luck, and this is speaking to your point about lower-level competition. We ran 3 plays. I believe it's the second quarter, but forgive me. There's so much information. I really got it. We're going to have to get mid-season form to watch us right away. But LeBourne is called on 3 times, and he gets barely the first down. I think we get 11 yards out of the 3 plays. But it's snap, run the ball, snap, run the ball. And I'm thinking to myself, well, who's going to stop that if you dare go for it on 4th down and it's 4th and 1? Because we just ran 3 plays inside of a minute, and it's that dude who finishes off runs like he does, and he's got mean intentions. That is just, you think about that as a baseline of your offense, and then there is the spread element to go along with it. I get it. We've all watched these offenses before, but watching it and consuming it as our own, you learn these nuances that you can still have a lot of toughness.
You can have a lot of toughness, and you're going to have a lot of toughness. A lot of those teams that have success running something akin to this have that added element of toughness that surprises people. They don't expect that a team running that tempo can also be tough.
Yeah.
Can be tough between the tackles, can be tough in the way that they run the football, can be tough in the red zone. They don't typically think of that. You have to have that if you're going to take it to the next level. Auburn had it that year. We saw it can happen.
Well, it's stamina, too. It's mental toughness. You can see it wearing on the defense. You can see it that, man, we got to run another damn play. Here comes this kid again. And you think about if you are Wake Forest or Duke and put them in that situation, and it's
they
the
don't have
third
the
quarter.
Athletes. They don't have the athletes for that.
And
That's
it's the
what I
third
mean.
quarter.
Yeah, no, I'll just say it now, resoundingly so. I believe this. I believe that the kinds of beatdowns that Florida State delivered to teams in the 90s that were of the lesser caliber, that couldn't recruit the athlete requisite to compete at a high level in that game over a sustained period of time, that's going to happen. That's going to return. And you see that a lot. I mean, that's happened at the other Power 5 conferences where this kind of an offense is run. If you go out to the Pac-12 with Oregon, there were teams in that conference that just, when Chip was running it, they could not keep up, and those scores would get to be ludicrous. We would scoff from a distance. We'd go, 77 points against poor Cal. Get the hell out of here with that, right?
Right.
They're going to be saying it this year when that happens to these teams like Duke, like Syracuse, you name it.
But conversely, because you run so many plays, if it's 10-0 Wake, it's not a problem.
No, right.
You know, if it's 10-0 Wake with Jimbo, well, okay, now we need to maximize everything possible.
Well, because if we don't score on this possession, we may not see the ball again forever. Oh, by the way, when we do get it back, we're going to take up a good 8 minutes on this field goal drive.
What Miami, Florida State is about to become in terms of a battle of styles is going to be really interesting.
How fun. I think so, too. And I think that we continue to see this develop in a way that is going to heighten expectations, intensities of rivalries, and off-season recruiting battles. That's exactly where we're at. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
That support local charities and organizations that improve the neighborhoods where we all work, live, and play. For your propane needs, call on AmeriGas Propane. Call 877-1122.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
O'Reilly. Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of O'Reilly conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for only $16.99. Or upgrade to high mileage for $17.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve engine performance with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history.
April 16th, 1996. The Chicago Bulls set an NBA record with their 70th win of the season. The Bulls broke the record previously held by the 1971-72 Los Angeles Lakers, who went 69-13. As for Chicago, they finished the season with a 72-10 record and went on to win an NBA championship over the Seattle Supersonics.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Superlube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Superlube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Feel like a bit of an overreaction, but as I pull up the probables for what we usually do at the end of the show, which is that very segment, I'm struck by the fact that baseball had 6 cancellations, postponements yesterday. And no, I mean, I get, listen, there's only so much you can do about the weather. And I am fairly certain, I guess, I'd like to trust that Major League Baseball has tried to figure out as best they can from a scheduling standpoint how the hell you avoid all these series in the north to start seasons. I mean, I'm sure they've looked at the coasts and domes and everything else, the south, but this is a problem because what you end up having now is a whole bunch of doubleheaders, and you also have a lot of guys. Well, what will happen is a lot of guys will be optioned when we get closer to the All-Star break because they're going to have 25 games in 27 days.
Right, yeah. Yeah, bullpen arms. So if you're a AAA bullpen arm, you're very happy about this situation because you're going to get a look.
You are.
But I agree, and the one thing I saw over the weekend was Kansas City's cancellation was particularly dubious because it was just temperature related. There was no weather at all.
Right.
So the wedding I was at is a guy who does obviously the weather for rotogrinders.com. So he was pissed. He was just so angry because
incensed.
Well, because there's no risk. There was zero risk that a daily fantasy player would have to, worry about a Kansas City Royal and whoever they were playing not actually playing the game.
Sure.
And they waited until 20 minutes before first pitch to call it. So people drove, got to the stadium, turnstiles, in their seats, everything. It was a total disaster.
That's a mess, and the situation has largely been a mess. They're setting records for cancellations, and it's not good. And it's not good for the game. It's not good for the quality of the game. It actually affects, at some point, your division leaders are going to, especially if you cancel games against an opponent you don't ordinarily play. So now you got a problem because somewhere in the second half or just before the All-Star break, you're going to finish your series with somebody, and in what would normally be a day off for a player, and they need days off, you're going to have to get on a flight and go back and play this game. It can affect the quality of play, the level of play, and, obviously you never want this to happen. To some extent, certainly injuries.
I had a sneaking suspicion yesterday the Cubs game would be one of those because of Joe Madden's complaints on Saturday that the game never should have been played.
Well, did you see? I mean, first of all, this morning I'm cracking up laughing. They're supposed to play this game today, but I mean, it's a blizzard.
Yeah.
Now, if you need any more reason not to live in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sweet Jesus, we're practically in May. Mm-hmm. What are we doing here? That would be, you've watched Suicide Watch.
Apparently, we're playing baseball on Saturdays. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
the Braves blown a 6-7 run lead, whatever the heck it was.
Well, when you give up a 9-run eighth, that'll hurt your feelings. Well, 9-run eighth for that ass. At least it's the eighth and not the ninth.
This is true, but still, I knew it though. Given we have the Braves, obviously, and we were scheduled to carry the game yesterday. I thought, man, if Papa Joe, who is coloring his hair aggressively these days, went to the dais and said this game should have never been played, I knew if it was anything close, the Cubs were probably going to postpone the Sunday game, and so they did.
Mets 12-2, Pirates 11-4. My friend, we're both in first place. I just want you to know through 15 games, you and I can join hands as fans of first place teams.
That's correct.
That's what we can do right there. Yeah.
We're what is it that Stugat says? We're on a collision course.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's Mets, Pirates postseason play along with Arizona. There it is, the big three. Yeah, it's impressive. All right, let's do probable, shall we?
It's time for how you say with the pitching probables.
If they play it in New York, it's Miami and the Yankees, Caleb Smith, Luis Severino. My guess is they won't. Hosted ACC Network this morning, and the producers in the studio were both in New York City. And the one guy says to me, hey, man, I know you're doing this broadcast from Florida. Dare I ask what the situation is down there? And I go, oh, it's beautiful. High today in the high 60s. No rain. No humidity, slight breeze. Good day to be alive. Good day to be outdoors. Because, the trees are sideways here and it's freezing. All right, next segment. It's brutal.
Well, maybe by Cinco de Mayo, you guys will be feeling the 50s.
Colorado and Pittsburgh. Herman Marquez against Stephen Brault. Looking for a bounce back for Stephen Brault. Cardinals, Cubs, probably not. Adam Wainwright, Tyler Chatwood, Royals, Jays, Eric Skoglund, Jaime Garcia. Rangers, Rays, Martin Perez, Blake Snell. We've got Nats and Mets. Supposed to get Nats and Mets underway. I don't think we're going to get Nats and Mets underway.
Yeah, they called the Cubs one already.
Did they already call it?
Yep.
Okay. I don't check on these things. I don't care about the Cubs. Nats, Mets, Jeremy Hellickson, and Jacob deGrom.
I agree.
I take it to beer. Phillies, Braves, Aaron Nola, Julio Teheran. We're going to have that game right here?
If they play
7:30
right?
tonight?
Yeah. Who's playing ever
Well,
anymore?
It's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They ought to be playing.
Yeah.
Reds, Brewers, Luis Castillo, Brent Suter. And White Sox says, well, that's not the last one. Jeff, don't you skip out on people. Ronaldo Lopez and Daniel Mengden. Astros, Mariners, Dallas Keuchel, James Paxton. Good matchup right there. Dodgers and Padres will see Rio against Erlin. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
Make a list of the things I'll do for you.
I was laughing today. You know, this has been very much a celebration of Florida State coming together, the fans, the players, the alumni, the former coaches and players, everybody. Just an amazing thing to see play out. And one thing I was cracking up, there was this idea that, if we got over 45,000, it would be stunning. And I have to admit, I assumed as much, right? That if you saw more than that, because the hype surrounding the spring game is always a little bit much. But obviously, Tom, as I told you throughout the day, once that baseball game ended, and they got it right, they did everything right this time around. I mean, playing the game at night is a good idea. Having a home baseball game, although Florida State didn't win either game, is a good idea. Doing what they did with the concert, another good idea. And that actually played very well. It was a lot of fun. I did stay.
I know.
I did. Yeah.
I saw that you stayed.
Yeah, we had a good time. Everybody had a blast. It was a lot of fun. But also, I think getting back to this, in that listening to fans and then obviously looking at the players that took to Twitter and the coaches, and if you could award Willie Taggart a national championship right now on the vibes that are here and the result of that spring game, he'd win it going away, undefeated, wire to wire. It is. I have not seen, and I don't think this is an overstatement. This is not a Corey Clark piece of hyperbole here. I have not seen so much enthusiasm around these parts since the 90s. I would say maybe going back, I know I think part of it is that we didn't know Jameis was that special. So you couldn't have into 2013 really said with any great confidence they're going to win the national title or that they're even in contention to win it.
No, the funny thing is, and if you look at the record books, you'd never know it. But to tell a story of somebody who maybe is younger or maybe when your kids grow up.
Yeah.
2012 was the year we were building towards.
We all thought 2012 was going to be this great season.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then it didn't happen. And so you have a quarterback battle out of necessity. And then 13 becomes the year we all thought 12 was going to be.
Yeah, so I would say, again, I remember, obviously, I came on the airwaves basically 20 years ago, and I can remember what it was like heading into the 99 season because I actually had a number of interviews with Florida State players. And one of my standard questions to each and every one of them, I remember talking to Ryan Sprague, and I said, if you guys do not win the national championship this year, will this season be a disappointment? I mean, so that will tell you where expectations were in spring and going into the fall and all that. The expectations here now are through the roof because of all the positive vibes, because of what's taken place here with Willie. Not a single misstep since he's arrived. And yet again today I was reminded, and I don't want to end it on a dour note here, but the offensive line was the lone problem in this spring game. Really kind of a problem. And when I was checking in today in preparation for some other stuff, I looked at every spring game that's been played. Now, Georgia Tech hasn't played there, and Virginia hasn't played theirs, but they're not really in contention anyhow. So you look at the teams that have Clemson, Virginia Tech, Miami, all these teams, right? Man, that offensive line has got to get much better if we're even going to win our division because Clemson is freaking loaded again. I mean, really, if we take a big picture approach here, what is reasonable to expect from Willie Taggart? I know in the midst of all this kumbaya celebration as warranted based on the steps he's taken. But the reality is Florida State's skilled and talented and going to win a lot of games. If that offensive line's not infinitely better, they got no shot against Clemson.
Well, yeah, and that's something I was listening to Sirius XM radio this morning when I was driving up from Tampa, and they had Luganville on. It was Andy Staples and Barrett. And so they had Tom Luganville on to talk about the Clemson spring game. That's the one he covered, and he was standing next to Dabo for the whole thing. And one of the takeaways, by the end of the season, he said, and I'm including two freshmen here.
Oh, Lawrence is going to be the starter.
But when you're talking about, well, yes, at quarterback, but by the end of the season, you're talking about 8 deep at the defensive
It's
line, and it might be the greatest collection that he says, I was around for Miami in the late 80s, early 90s, but I'm here to tell you that these guys who came back, holy cow.
No, and they go 8 deep. That's
correct. Right.
And it's a nightmare. I mean, for the rest of us, it's a nightmare. I had David Hale on this morning on SiriusXM, and we talked at length. He was at that spring game as well, and he said, listen, I know you guys get tired of me talking on and on about Clemson. He goes, but to see the collection of players they have right now, it's a testament to what he's been able to do in recruiting and the ability to convince these guys to come back. And it's ridiculous. It's like the frustration one must feel in the SEC about Alabama. You know, this is and now you've got a legitimate all-world quarterback to go with it. Now, I'll grant you in a spring game, you know, Kelly Bryant can't do what he does really well, which is run the football. It's kind of negated in a spring game. But
okay, so we just watched, you know, the Masters out in Augusta, and we knew coming into it that this could be an all-time Masters because of how many guys were playing well. And the fact that, you know, the world rankings, the top 20, plus some of the older players.
Right.
You're loaded. You're loaded with compelling stories. And even though we didn't get the Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods Saturday, Sunday that we wanted, at least one of those two, that first page of that leaderboard was all-time great.
Yeah.
And it gave us a better Sunday than, you know, than an average Masters, no doubt. It feels like college football is about to do the same thing. I get it that it's kind of an oligarchy, right, that you got about 10 real power teams, and then some can rise if they have the right collection of seniors and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at each one of these markets in the Southeast.
Oh, it's incredible right now.
They have a path to returning to prominence if they're not already there.
Because Georgia's already there. Alabama is a standard. Now you go Clemson, who's probably, I would say, the first or second best. I would rank Clemson number 1 going into the season. 1A, 1B, them in Alabama.
Yeah.
From there, it's pretty wide open. You know, Ohio State has got to prove that they've been able to, you know, they got to supplant some guys on that defensive line, and they got a quarterback competition. So we'll see, right? A lot of fascinating stories revolve around the quarterback almost all over the country. Right here in our own backyard, obviously that's a story. But you see it at Miami. I think there's a burgeoning quarterback battle there without question.
They have a chance. They have a path.
They have a path,
because they're cool again.
Well, and they can win the Coastal. They can win the Coastal with defense alone. They've got a very good defense, so that would make sense. Virginia Tech and Justin Fuente, obviously very good coach. We'll get to see them first game out the box. Obviously, Bud Foster's defense, all that they do, which is another reason that has me concerned with this offensive line, and that's the first game of the season.
Right.
You know,
and again, you project 2 or 3 years down the line. I'm not talking necessarily just 2018.
Next year, right.
But Mullen is going to bring respectability to Florida at the minimum, if not something a little bit better.
Dan Mullen's track record is that no matter where he is, whether it's as an assistant or head coach, is he gets good quarterback play.
Right.
So he's going to get competent quarterback play.
All right. Now, I get it. Pruitt can be trouble sometimes, but he's competent, and he knows how to coach up, scheme up defensive
It'll be
play.
all about recruiting for Tennessee. It'll be interesting to see.
There'll be a dangerous out week to week, at minimum, I think. As long as he sticks around for a few years, there'll be a dangerous out. Then, I mean, obviously in the Big 12, Texas thinks it's trying to get, back to a certain level, and Herman is recruiting at that elite level. He's on the precipice of being top 5 year in, year out. So they're going to have good players. Oklahoma obviously has its new coach. And
Lincoln Riley is a very good.
They did not miss a beat.
No.
There's just so many teams, and they all seem to be peaking at the same time. So this really is going to get interesting as you look between now and 2020, I think.
Well, Washington in the Pac-12 is now a perennial power. Southern Cal certainly likes to believe they're on the way back. Now you got Chip Kelly at UCLA. That could be very interesting, of course. You're no doubt Ohio State in the Big Ten. But now think about this. You got Nebraska now on the radar as somebody, and we'll see if they can get it turned around, but you've got the right coach now.
And obviously Jimbo's out of Texas A&M, but I think at the very least they might become, again, like a dangerous out, where you can't take a week off.
Yeah.
So I think
it's good time.
Your mid-level conference games, where, in Alabama for the last 10 years could just chalk up a win against insert mid-level SEC
boat race
team.
Somebody, yeah.
Not anymore. No, I think we're heading to a place where a lot of these teams are going to be competitive week in and week out.
And I guess ultimately to put a ribbon on it and circle back as part of the larger storyline is that the celebration on Saturday was very real, and it's something that everybody could embrace. And the belief in Willie Taggart and this staff is something that is firmly entrenched and in place right now. That was evident by the support that showed up at Doak Campbell Stadium. But it's a good time for that to have happened, because I'll tell you what, all I could think about the whole time that I was there on Saturday night wasn't just that I was having a good time and that I was running into so many people that were so excited about what's happening in Tallahassee, but that, can you imagine, once again I'll say it, if the changes hadn't been made. And given the climate you just described, and given what we know is going on at Clemson and what's happening down at Miami currently, what would the feeling have been? One of desperate sadness.
Well, and here it is too. If Mullen was the hire, for example, it wouldn't have the same resonating personal touch that Willie has. Now, is it going to work? I don't know, but at least right now we have. There's a genuine touch to what Florida State is all about. There's continuity between tradition and today. And that's where, when you're a recruit and you have all of these great options, which we're talking about, more options at high levels than ever, you got to be unique.
My question is whether will it work? I think the big question as we launch into this offseason, which sadly kind of begins right now, is how soon? How soon can you make it work? He's going to get players, Tom, and if you get players, you're going to win. So you'll just win a lot of games because you have better players. How soon can you topple Clemson? That's the whole thing. How soon can you do that? They're the benchmark right now. If you start beating Clemson, you're going to start playing in the college football national championship or the playoffs at the very least. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Be well. We got Braves baseball tonight. We think, knock on wood. We'll talk to you tomorrow.